My friend's brother went insane over our son's name.
Calm down, dude.
So my boyfriend and I have been together for a while now. 1.5 years.
That's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I would say. Sophia would like to be together with you for 7 years before she has a child.
I was just saying that was a reasonable time to be together, not for a reasonable time to be together before having a child. I think that's not reasonable.
Oh, there it is. Good take. And we've decided we want a baby.
That's okay.
Is it reasonable or not?
It's not reasonable. Oh, a year and a half of being together with your partner.
Yep. Baby time.
I don't know. That's pretty quick to decide you want a baby. How old are you guys?
They've been together for a while.
A year and a half. That's all we know.
For a while now.
A while now is not a year and a half is not a while now.
Unless you live on Mercury. No. You're right. No. Which one's the farthest from the sun?
Pluto.
But we got some sticklers. Pluto's moves pretty fast.
My
I think it's
something
Uranus.
mother just fed us 9 pizzas. It's Neptune.
Neptune? Unless you live on Neptune, then that's like 9 years. Okay, anyways, we're on to it. Sophia disapproves. It's going to be a boy.
Congrats.
Very clearly a boy.
Wait.
And we've decided to name him Bjorn.
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 Like Bjorn.
I'm Bjorning it.
Yeah, like you know, like Bjorn.
It's like they tried to say Jason Bourne, but added a J in it.
Well, you know, like the artist Bjorn.
No.
Okay, you might know them.
I don't.
Like they're always like, isn't that Bjorn?
I'm Bjorn. No, I don't know who this is.
Oh wait, I was thinking of Bjork.
Who is Bjorn? Bjorn, also known as Bjorn Ironside, is a fictional character and the son of Ragnar Lothbrok and Lagra in the TV series Vikings. Oh, it's a Viking name.
Okay, for sure.
You only get a pass if you have heritage of Vikings.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just like, why are we naming our child Bjorn? But if you've got the heritage, it makes sense.
And if you're white, you probably do. I don't know.
Somewhere along the line.
By the way, this comes from That Sloth 59. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. We love those stories.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Riley.
I'm Sophia.
And how much do we know between the two of us, Sophia?
Not that much.
We're just here to be goofy.
Mm-hmm.
And what is their job as a listener?
Let us know what you know.
Yeah, down in the comments. OP continues. My boyfriend's brother called us today after we announced to my boyfriend's mom, dad, and his sister, who lives with his parents, that our son's name is going to be Bjorn. Or Bjorn, whatever you want.
However you're pronouncing it, I suppose.
One of them, we don't know who yet, told my boyfriend's little brother the name we had decided on, and he went off on us over the phone. It's probably because he's a fan of that show.
He's like, that's not fair. I wanted that name. I was going to name my son Bjorn. Or maybe he was going to name his son Bjork. And he was like, this is totally unreasonable. I was going to name my son Bjork, or my daughter Bjork, I suppose. And now that's too close.
According to my boyfriend's little brother, my boyfriend has known for 10 years what he wanted to name his son if he ever had one. He has a daughter and told everyone that if she was a boy, his name would be Bjorn.
Okay, wait, so that he actually did want to name his son Bjorn.
No, it says, according to my boyfriend's little brother, my boyfriend has known for 10 years.
Oh.
That he wanted, okay, now this is the part that we're getting confused at. He, who is he? Is it little brother or is this boyfriend?
I think it's little brother because he's saying that he had a daughter. Little brother had a daughter, and if the daughter...
He has a daughter and told everyone? Okay.
I think so, but let's keep reading and
so
see.
He stole the idea from little brother.
Not great. Not great.
My boyfriend doesn't ever remember him saying that, and no one has mentioned anything to us when we told them about his little brother wanting the name and has been wanting it for 10 years. On the call, he was really aggressive. He started the phone call with, "What's this all about, stealing my son's name?" There was no hello, no what's up, nothing. Just straight to angrily asking us, why did we choose that name? My boyfriend was visibly confused, asked him what he meant, and his little brother started going on about how my boyfriend has known for 10 years that he wanted to name his son Bjorn if he ever had a boy. Why were we taking it, asking us not to name our son Bjorn, and that if we did, we would cut him out of our lives as a big FU to him.
Well, this guy honestly maybe has the dramatics to get away with naming his son Bjorn.
The passion, the Viking passion.
Yeah, he's got the Viking passion. He'll cut you down for naming your son Bjorn because he wants that name.
Yeah, OP, it doesn't really sound like you want that. It doesn't sound like your boyfriend wants it that bad.
It sounds like you're just like, Bjorn is like a good enough name.
Whatever.
We've been dating for a year and a half. I guess we can call our child Bjorn.
Yeah, if they don't, like, say meters or kilometers in this story, I'm going to be like, Are you guys in the U.S.?
But like what I'm asking here, what I'm thinking to myself.
Uh-huh.
So they've been dating a year and a half. They already know that they're having a son,
They already got a name picked out.
which means to me that they probably found out about their son about a year into their relationship. Again, feels
Well, I don't know how far along they are.
far long enough to know that they have a son, which
So
you
like
can't
a
know.
month or two after a month, you know.
You can know
Oh, a
after
son.
month. Yeah.
Oh, the kid.
like
So
the
it's
gender.
like 5 or 6 months in.
Yeah, yeah. So like they had that baby pretty quick into the relationship.
This is also giving me a red flag that the boyfriend doesn't listen.
Yeah.
After 10
Yeah,
years.
maybe his brother was saying, he's like, I've been saying for 10 years that I wanted to name my son Bjorn. And the boyfriend's like, what are you talking? I just like came up with that.
Exactly.
It just came to me. What are you talking about?
My subconscious told me this.
Yeah.
My boyfriend said we'd think about changing the name, but his little brother just aggressively said that if we didn't change it, he'd hate us and cut us out of his life. My boyfriend ended up hanging up on him as he kept going on and off at us. And then his wife jumped in, yelling at us and telling us we're a-holes and how could we do this to them, etc. Pros and cons list.
Yikes. Of not naming or naming your son Bjorn?
Yeah,
Well, if you name your son Bjorn
his name's Bjorn.
and you don't live in like Iceland, probably a lot of people are going to be like, Bjorn?
That's a con.
How do
yeah.
you spell Bjorn? How do you say that?
No. Put the 2 dots over the O. That's how it works.
Bjorn. I guess you could always just go, it's like Bjork, but Bjorn.
I'm going to be like, what the heck is a Bjork?
Yeah. And then like pro, Bjorn, pretty cool name. Your son could grow up to be a Viking. Pretty cool.
Go through like other Viking names if that's really what you want.
Con, you lose your brother. Pro, that's all I got.
Yeah, there's more cons than pros.
Mm-hmm.
I'd give it to him, honestly.
Yeah.
My boyfriend genuinely didn't know or doesn't remember ever hearing his little brother ever say anything about wanting his son's name to be Bjorn if they ever had a boy. He's Scottish and wants to honor that.
Okay, that makes sense. That's fair. Bjorn feels like a Scottishy name.
So he went through a baby name list and went through all the names he liked, ended up picking Bjorn. I'll have to admit, I wasn't fully in love with the name at first, but I've come around to it, and now I can't imagine his name being anything other than Bjorn. My boyfriend went quiet after the call. I can tell he's struggling a bit. He loves the name Bjorn. We've been calling him Bjorn since we found out the baby was a boy, but he loves his little brother and doesn't want to cut him out of his life. And I'm not really close to his brother at all, really don't care other than the struggle it's causing my boyfriend. I love the name now as well, and I don't want to change his name at all. I don't see the issue of having cousins named with the same name.
I see an issue there. It's kind of silly.
Siblings, yeah, but not cousins, and that just might be me. So I'm here to ask, are we a-holes for wanting to name our son Bjorn when that's apparently what his little brother wants to name his son if he ever has one? We have an edit.
I think that you would not be the a-holes for naming your son Bjorn.
I do.
Why?
You're Scottish. I would say family's like a very big thing there.
Well, it might be just Scottish heritage, and they're not actually in Scotland.
Anyways, I come from a place where family's pretty tight.
Yeah.
If I found out my brother wanted to name his kid, Bjorn, and I'm like, oh yeah,
That's my
Bjorn.
favorite name.
Yeah. I would have probably told my brother earlier though.
Yeah.
I'd be like, we're thinking Bjorn. But then that also comes with the question if he's now figuring this out and you now just told him. But I don't know. I'd change the name though. If it was my brother, I'd change it.
I think I agree. I don't think you would be the a-holes for naming your son Bjorn. However, I do think that if your boyfriend has, a pretty close bond to his little brother, and you didn't even really care about, like, I know you said, like, now you have an attachment to the name, but you didn't really like it in the beginning. So I feel like you could come to be attached to any name.
Yeah.
And if it really is causing your boyfriend so much, strife and agony, then I probably would change the name, even though it's not fair.
Did you know that my name was about to be Cameron?
Cameron. I cannot picture you as a Cameron.
Or Logan?
I could see you as a Logan.
Yeah.
Not a Cameron.
Yeah, but there's this weird lady at my mom's church that, I've already told you this story, haven't I? My mom went to this lady and was like, I'm going to name my kid Cameron. And she's like, oh, I'm going to name my kid Cameron.
Weird.
Oh, I'm going to name my kid Logan. Oh, I'm going to name my kid Logan. She landed on Riley. Loved it. I'm going to name my kid Casper. It's kind of weird.
Casper, the friendly ghost.
Oh, man. Edit. Hey, It's the boyfriend here.
Ooh la la!
The missus asked me to explain the history and reasoning behind the name. Family origins are from Kirkwall.
Cool.
Our family has strong Norse Gaelic origins from the Scandinavian settlement of the area in the 8th and 9th century. Bjorn is a popular Nordic origin name and not that uncommon with the Norse Gaelic parts of Scotland. Although my family is Scottish, I love the name and it pays homage to our origins.
Homage.
Oh, homage?
Homage.
Oh, they just leave the H out of it?
Yeah, silent H.
Come on, you just don't
Some
even put
people
the
say
H in it.
homage, but
That's what I
I've
said.
usually heard you said homage.
My parents are from Kirkwall, Scotland, and I'm Australian born. Also, Bjorn is only on some Scottish boy names list. It's not common, but it is common on the Nordic Gaelic boys name list. Consensus, everyone is confused why a Scottish person insists on Scandinavian name. No one seems to remember to give a vote on the actual issue at hand. Oh gosh, no.
Guys.
That's what Reddit does. They're
like
they're
nitpicky.
nerds and they're like getting into the details of it.
Scottish.
And not
Bjorn.
they completely missed the point.
It's like clearly there was some sort of background here that would have made OP's boyfriend pick the name.
Yeah.
We didn't need the edit.
Sawyer's name is paying homage to the sawmill because Sawyer means someone that cuts a piece of wood.
Ah,
I didn't know
like
that.
a saw.
Yeah, like Sawyer.
Ah,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yep.
Makes sense.
I corrected my great grandfather about that because I didn't know that and I felt so bad in a video that I changed it, but I felt so bad. I was like, I'm an idiot.
Fool.
I thought it was called Sawman, but it's a
Saw
Sawyer.
man. Yeah, no. That's funny.
Anyways, comments by OP. I don't see an issue at all with having cousins being named the same name. Depends on how often you guys get together.
Yeah, like if you're not close to your cousins, yeah, sure, it doesn't matter. But if you're close to your cousins, why would you want like you're running around, you're going, Bjorn, come back, and he's like, which one? Bjorn 1 or Bjorn 2?
I bet my son would love the fact that his cousin has the same name as him, as he's not gonna have friends with the same name. It's not common where we
I'm
are.
gonna be honest with you, that's not true.
Yeah, no.
That there's like a small chance that your son will like that his cousin has the same name as him, but
If they see
I
each other
doubt
every
it.
5 years, maybe.
yeah, I doubt that Bjorn and Bjorn are gonna love that.
But it is such a random name, though.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people I know that have unique names. I mean, you know, sometimes they get kind of
Like who?
You can get bullied, but I have like I don't know. I don't want to dox them all.
That's awesome.
I just have different friends who have unique names, and they've always been very happy that they are so unique. And
I
this
can't
comes
even
from,
think of a unique name right now.
Well, I have an incredibly common name, and so do you. And I feel like when I was a child, there was like 6 Sophias just
Yeah,
like
there were
in
a
my
lot of
grade.
Rileys. Yeah.
Yeah.
He is married but doesn't want to have it any other way that we know of. But that's what I was thinking. Or even using our son's nickname, which is Bear, because that's what Bjorn means. And calling his son Bjorn. Okay, so we go by Bear. This one we go by Bjorn.
I guess so.
And anyone that was Nordic Gaelic would be freaking confused if they knew English as well.
What? What?
There's no guarantee that my brother-in-law and sister-in-law will ever have a boy. And I'm currently cooking a boy in my womb right now. I'm currently 6 months pregnant. Downvoted. The meaning is exactly why I've come around to the name as well. Well, that and I start thinking of my son as Bjorn and can't think of the baby as anything else at this point. We wanted to have the nickname of our little bear for our baby boy. The way he went off at us, it seemed like a giant overreaction for just the baby name. I don't know. If my brother was like, I'm going to name my kid Lee, I'd probably be freaking out.
Yeah, I'm trying to see this from the brother's perspective of, let's say that he did tell his brother, Opie's boyfriend, that he wanted to name his son Bjorn, and it's like this incredibly unique name, and he's been telling people for 10 years, it's like, yeah, I really want to name my son Bjorn, and then boyfriend comes in and says, yeah, I'm going to name our son Bjorn. He goes, what? Dude, I've been telling you for 10 years.
Just don't do it. I don't know. Just don't do it.
Yeah, I'd be pretty upset.
I personally don't care whether I lose a relationship with my brother-in-law. This is the second time I've heard from him or even seen him in the year and a half I've been with my boyfriend. But I don't think that's something my boyfriend is wrestling with now.
Okay, to be fair, being with a person for a year and a half, unless you live close to the brother, is not that unreasonable to be like, I haven't seen you in a year and a half. Or like, I've only seen you a couple times in a year and a half.
But on the significance of the name, there is none for my brother-in-law either. He just liked the name and wants to name his son that one day. just how my boyfriend and I have decided on the name. That's how names go. I meant if myself, lost the relationship, I wouldn't care with my brother-in-law. Obviously, I give a crap if my partner loses a relationship with his brother. I just don't care if I, myself, lose the relationship with his brother.
I think you should care, honestly.
Yeah, you guys have only been there for a year and a half.
Yeah, I feel like the issue is that OP has only been in this relationship for a year and a half. And so obviously, for a good reason, doesn't have attachment to his family. But I think you should want an attachment to his family if you're going to be around here for a while.
Well, if that's kind of how she's seen him and it's not
Yeah.
been a like, oh, hello kind of thing.
Yeah, I've only seen you in a negative light. That's fair.
Downvoted, my partner is absolutely in love with the name since he saw the name on one of the baby list names online, and I absolutely love the name now. It's my son's name, but there is heaps of drama around this name now. Another downvoted comment is we don't live in Scotland, but my boyfriend and his family is very into where their family came from. So it's not common here, but I believe it's very common in Scotland. He's got a daughter, and he could very well only ever have daughters. My partner is very into the history of Scottish names as well, and apparently the Nordic and Scottish names mixed, and you'll find a lot of Nordic names are also Scottish names. I don't know if it's true, but I've fallen in love with the name now, and I can't imagine naming him anything else. But thank you. I hope he does calm down and comes around to the fact that he's going to have a nephew, and he has to be happy for us. Hope he says, when I heard the phone call, I had to stop myself from laughing at the absurdity. The only issue with using Bjorn as a middle name is we already have a middle name set as well because it's my father's middle name and his father's middle name as well. So it'll have to be his first name or we have to decide on something else. Dude, everyone's downvoting her comments.
Yeah, they're like, we don't like this. It's not right. It's just not right.
About her partner, most of his family calls every week, if not every fortnight, except for his little brother. He loves his brother, but he's not particularly close with him. His little brother is the only biological sibling he has. So yeah, I guess it does. But the name also means a great deal to us as well. Not in the typical sense that it's got a meaningful significance to us, but that's what we have decided on for our son's name. So it means a lot to us as well. Been calling the kid this name for like a month.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like it's been, I don't know. People can get attached to names, which makes sense because it's your kid, and especially if it's the first name that they've like decided on as a couple. It just seems like a lot of hullabaloo.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I've asked the rest of the family. No one has heard him say it or remembers him saying it. Downvoted comment, it's on all the Scottish baby boy names list on Google. I apologize if I'm coming off irritated or not. It's just you Google search Scottish names and a non-Scottish name pops up. It's quite annoying that the sites do that. I appreciate you letting me know that it's not a Scottish name.
Wait, so did you guys know that when you named you were like, we want to name our son something Scottish? Bjorn.
But Nordic and Scottish kind of have the same names, but people are like,
I don't know. I think OP's like wrong.
probably.
I think OP's finding out that she's wrong.
Commenters are telling him to stop explaining Scotland to an actual Scottish people and that Bjorn is not used in Scotland. And we have an update 1 month and a week later.
All right. Bjorn's not Scottish.
And you're pissing the Scottish people off.
Like I've never heard a Scottish person called Bjorn.
All right, update. Here we go. A month later. It's been about a month since my last post, and my boyfriend's brother apparently really wants the name Bjorn for his son. He changed his name to Bjorn a few days after finding out we were naming our son Bjorn.
Wait, I'm sorry. Your
He
boyfriend's
changed
brother
his
changed his
name?
own name? He changed his own name to Bjorn?
Boyfriend's brother sent a message in my boyfriend's family group chat announcing to everyone that his legal name is Bjorn, middle name, last name.
Okay, yeah, I take it all back. Your boyfriend's brother is a little cuckoo. And just proceed as you want. And you don't need to have a relationship with this guy.
And all he was waiting for was the change in his documents and his driver's license to be done.
Your boyfriend's brother is a little crazy.
Boyfriend's brother said that he told everyone in his family that he wanted the name Bjorn for his son, and I asked everyone in my boyfriend's family if that was true. Both his mother and father said that when he blew up at us about the name, it was the first time they ever heard him say that. His sister said the same thing, and his other sister claims he'd told everyone for years. Okay, now we're just picking sides here.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's just her supporting her brother, as they're closer than anyone in their family and really only talk to each other about things. I believe he told her he wanted the name for his son, but didn't tell anyone else. By the way, I'm going to tell you right now, go to your favorite podcast platform, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, I don't care. Search for Poke Storytime, and we got more crazy stories just like this. We have a little bit more here, but changing the legal name?
That's what I don't get. Why would you if you wanted your son to be called Bjorn, what does it do for you to change your own name to Bjorn?
Yeah.
Why?
I will say a good way to not name your baby a specific name is if someone else has that name and they're weird. You have a whole list of names you're not going to name your kid, right?
Yeah, but no one's going to call this guy Bjorn. It doesn't really matter if it's on his license. Yeah, so maybe he's like, I got tips.
He's probably
I'm calling myself Bjorn.
He's probably trying to like ruin the experience.
Yeah, maybe. He's just a weirdo at this point.
Here we go. How to say bear in Switzerland.
What? In Switzerland? Are you just going through
Bar. How to say bear in Swedish. I can't translate into Swedish. You're dumb. Okay.
Let's look up how to say bear.
Yeah, all right. Everyone, let's take a moment and figure out how to say bear in different languages.
In Scottish Gaelic. All right. Mathon in Scottish Gaelic.
Oh, in Iceland, it's called Bjorn.
Yeah. Well, Bjork is an Icelandic name, so that's what I was thinking.
Oh, here we go. In Greenland, it would be Nonokju or Nankju.
Well, there you go.
Isbjorn is ice bear in Danish.
Isbjorn.
Just call him Isbjorn.
Oh, that's so cute. Isbjorn. Isbjorn. Come here, Isbjorn.
Dude, we gotta solve.
Yeah.
Opie continues, it's taken me this long to get over this petty behavior. So I decided to finally give an update. I'm not sure if this is the last update I'm going to give, or at least until our son is born and boyfriend's brother realizes that his plan to get us to change our son's name has failed, and we're called a-holes for actually naming our son what we said we would. I just want to add, I thought the name of Scottish origin that the baby... Oh my God, now she's trying to like back herself up.
TBHOP, you need to like do a little bit more research on your baby's name.
Yeah, just don't listen to your boyfriend. I'm seeing a lot of red flags here in the relationship.
I'm just upset about your research skills.
Yeah.
I think that we can't just trust a baby name list that says 100 Scottish baby names. I think we got to be like, oh, Bjorn, that's a beautiful name. Let's look into that.
I think they looked into it, looked at the definition.
Yeah.
And this is what they got.
That's good. That's all we need to know.
Look it up on Urban Dictionary too. Come on, everything. I just want to add, I thought the name of Scottish origin that the baby name list saying it was Scottish was accurate, but I've since been informed it's Nordic or Scandinavian. We just want to name our son Bjorn, regardless of that fact, as we love the name.
Okay.
But okay, so this is where it doesn't make sense. The boyfriend is Scottish and Australian.
Well, she's Australian.
Oh, well, I give up like
so
you
she
should.
Said she's Australian descent, right?
Yeah, well, technically you are too.
Yeah, but you're not really, no one's really Australian, unless you're like Aboriginal, you're not really Australian descent.
Aren't you?
No, my mom is from Australia, but her mom, like if you're thinking, like Australia is like the US. So unless you're Native American, you're not, like your history is not. I'm French I'm French and Scottish on my mom's side.
So you're not a descendant of an Australia?
Like if you count my mom, yes, but like I'm saying, like if he were saying, "Oh, my family's Scottish," Australia isn't.
I'm gonna be for real. I don't even know. You could, yeah.
Like if
You're talking a brick wall right now.
If you were to say like what your ancestry was, you would say like I'm American, but my ancestry is this and this. You know.
So I'm not American descent.
Yeah.
Even though my family has been here since like 1739.
Well, you could say that. Yeah, you could be like, yeah, we've been here for this long, so I've been in America this long. But if you wanted to go further, you'd be like, like my ancestry is from.
Yeah.
You probably have a little bit more claim to say America, but.
Yeah.
It's just when people usually ask that question, they mean like.
Okay, I think I'm more confused now. Opie says, we're gonna say that our son's uncle loved our son's name so much that his uncle changed his name to match our son. And we have all the loopholes covered up here, and that was a crazy story just to name their son Bear in Nordic.
Yep, and there you go. That's I guess, I don't even know if there is a list in there, but I'm
kind of sold on Bjorn now. Wow.
Yeah.
I kind of went through that whole cycle.
You got me. We're all on the same page.
Goodness gracious. Put down what you wish you named your son down below.
Yeah.
We'll get to daughters on the next one.
Yeah. But that's the end of that story, and we've got another one coming right up.
My husband and I went to counseling, and he still divorced me anyway.
Looks like it wasn't the counseling's fault.
I, 29 female, was married to my husband, 29 male, for 2 years, but we were in a relationship for 14 years. Half of our lives. No kids either. In my opinion, we were good couple. Full of warm for each other, support, love, and ambition. People in our environment said that we were like perfect couple. I thought we had good life. Good jobs, family and friends support. Traveling, daily chatting during workday, then talking at home, eating meals together. Almost no arguments. By the way, this comes from user _AirAd. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Riley. I'm so glad I'm not reading this.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know, here and there.
Some stuff.
Stuff from up and down, left and right, whatever. Just let us know all the stuff, everything you've ever known in the comments, please.
Yeah, we love it.
And OP says, but half a year ago, my husband started to admit that he isn't happy and that he needs help. I gave him as much support as I could. I asked him, what can I do for you? I promised I am here for you anytime and want to help you. I gave him a lot of support and attention. During this half year, my husband has cried a lot, and it wasn't a few tears. It was hysteria and despair. I always sat next to him on the floor, sometimes for hours, and tried to find some solution, give him support, hope, begging him to tell me what is happening and how to help him. But he never gave me a reason. So I thought it was about work or house we were building. I had no idea the reason could be in our marriage. I helped him to find psychologist and psychiatrist. He was prescribed antidepressants, but he didn't want to take them. I also noticed that he spent a lot of time on phone chatting.
Oh.
He took his phone to the toilet and kept in the pocket. I said to him that I noticed this hiding, but I didn't want to break his privacy. So I just begged him, look me in the eyes until I don't have to worry about another woman. He looked. You don't have to, he said. And for me, it was enough. I trusted him.
You know, with technology advancing, it may not be another woman. It may just be a robot. Someone said an AI robot. It could just,
Yeah.
grok.
I mean, technically, they say the AIs are going to be better at everyone at any job. So at some point, the AIs are going to be better at romance scams than anyone else.
Holy cow.
So, and then what do they need that money for?
Servers.
More graphics cards.
More RAM.
The AI is going to buy more RAM and more graphics cards so it can make more fake relationship scams and get more graphics cards and more money. This is the future Sam Altman wants for us.
Oh my gosh.
1 month ago, he found courage to admit that the reason of him being unhappy is in our marriage and wants to break you up. He said that he sees that I love him with all my being, with all my heart, but he can't return this feelings. He said that he changed and we are not compatible anymore. It broke my heart. In one moment, my whole world collapsed. I begged him to go to marriage counseling because there was no way to end such a long relationship in just one day without a fight. He agreed for counseling. We were in counseling only once. He said there that he is unhappy in this relationship. He is tired. He doesn't want to pretend anymore. He said that he had been keeping this decision in himself for months, but he was afraid to tell me about it because he felt responsible for me. He didn't want to hurt me. He was afraid that I wouldn't be able to cope alone. I saw that there is no light and hope in him, and it can really be over. When I understand that I can't do anything more, I decided this is the moment for checking his messages and find the true reason. And I found what I was looking for. It was week ago.
Oh, he's monkey branching? Bro.
Monkey branch. What is that?
Where you're hanging on one vine, one relationship, and hanging on to another one, another relationship, and you're going to let go of the previous relationship so you can swing to the next one.
Swing into the next vine. Monkey man. He must have crazy forearms.
It's a strategy.
He has cheated on me with his coworker for over 6 months.
Oh.
She is 6 years younger girl,
Ah.
and she was in long-term relationship just a month ago also, but she finished it.
Oh no.
Well, at least one person did it the right way.
Well, no, she did it 5 months in still. They've been seeing each other for 6
Ah,
months.
no, nobody did it right. No. When I thought he was in the office, he was working from her house with her.
Oh no.
Working on what? They professed love to each other. They talked about kissing in the elevator. He promised her that he put his affairs in order but needs time, begged her to not leaving him. She said, I will be waiting no matter what. He said to me that there was no spicy sleep between them, but I am not sure if I should believe him. When I told him that I knew, he admitted that he didn't have the courage to tell me about the affair. He wanted to help me become independent, and when I was ready, he would leave. And nobody would find out about her. He felt responsible for me and the need to take care of me. He said he fall in love with her. First time he feels something like this because so far there was no comparison. He didn't think it was possible to feel this way. It hurt me like nothing ever before. I love him with the strongest love in the world. I can't hate him. I know that I am naive, but if he said it was a mistake, I would forgive him in a second. But he won't. He doesn't want me anymore. I know that it is the lack of respect for myself. I know he hurt me and can do it again in the future, but he is my favorite person in the world. He did a lot for me. He gave me motivation and made me ambitious in many life fields. We experienced the most beautiful moments in life together. I don't want to accept the fact that he will live a happy life with her and I will be alone. I have huge support in my family and friends, but in the end of the day, there are only me and my thoughts and empty bed. How can I
Aw.
move on? How to deal with this situation? I have never lived alone. It's only been a week and I already feel like the loneliness is getting to me, even though I have friends who call me or meet me every day. But I only want him. I talked with him every day for 14 years, and now we have no contact. Sometimes 1 or 2 logistic messages a day. I have obsessive thoughts about where he is, what he is doing, whether he is with her. I promise I'll go crazy. I nonstop think that she will live my life, my dream life. Maybe they will get married, maybe have kids together. These thoughts are making me feel bad because it was our plan, his and mine. Yesterday I had the first therapy session, but it gave no relief. What should I do? I don't have energy or motivation for anything. And there are some comments, but definitely
Aw.
keep going to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going.
Okay, I'm gonna get on the little serious bus, get on the serious hat on here. My first thought and concern: are they in the U.S.? Second thought and concern: is she from a country outside of the U.S.? Because it sounds like she doesn't. It sounds like she's not from, like, English isn't like her first language. So, like, does she have a green card? And has he just been providing for her this whole time? And now that they've only been married for 2 years? Because how long do you have to be together for?
I want to say 2 might be one of the benchmarks, but I think the other one is like 5 years.
Like,
she-
together or like married?
Married.
That's what I'm also worried about. Because he's like the provider, taking care of her, and that makes sense why she has this like dynamic. That's what I'm worried
In a
about.
way, I don't think we have to worry about that because in
Okay.
a way,
I think
It
after
d-
2 she can apply for her own thing. I think
Gotcha.
it might
Yeah.
be it's either 2 or 5 though, I think is when you can get your own citizenship.
he was doing that weird thing though, where he was like, yeah, I wasn't going to tell you until I felt you were independent and ready enough to be. So like if him leaving her would like jeopardize her like immigration status or what any of
Mhm.
that, I'm
Mhm.
sure he would have like gotten it so that it wouldn't and then did it.
Okay, that's my only
Which,
concern here.
yeah. I'm not saying this guy did anything right, but he's definitely not out here trying to be like, yeah, I don't love you, and I never did, and I don't even freaking care about you at all, and I hope you have to leave the country. He's just like, I don't know, she's 6 years younger and really hot, and I have not ever felt this way about anyone, and I did not know you could, so I'm confused, and I'm gonna leave.
What goes on in the mind with like, boom, I'm gonna go over here? Just opportunists? I don't know. This is so sad, and I feel for this girl.
Relevant comments. This is the correct advice. Do not go to. Wait, what?
So there was a comment, because I just had it up, and I don't know if the actual comment it's referring to made it in, because there's
Oh.
a bunch of responses to it.
Okay.
But the first comment is, the first thing you need to do is go to HR and report the person and your cheating husband. Maybe all those BS and crying was him feeling guilty. If it's been going on for 6 months, they'd professed love to each other. Trust me, they've been doing it.
This is the correct advice. Do not go to HR, talk to an attorney, and let them guide you through the divorce process. Any attempt at revenge will only bring temporary satisfaction. Don't lower your own standards just because he was willing to do it. He has the poor character, not you. And definitely don't do it because there's a bunch of petty humans online. Consult an attorney. Grieve your marriage and friendship as it is no longer. Move forward and heal. It's going to be a long road, but stay strong. You'll be so proud of yourself when you've made it through to the other side of this healing journey. And we have an update.
Oh no, let's get it.
Let's get it. It is over a month since D-Day, over 3 weeks since our last meeting, 5 days total of no contact. For most of the last few weeks, I've felt quite fine. I moved into a new, beautiful apartment in a beautiful area where I feel peaceful.
Aww.
That's what we can do, babe. We prioritize our peace. I've been able to joke about the whole situation, talk about it without emotion and without crying, and there was a lot of anger, rage, and hatred in me. I think my good condition was due to the adrenaline and shock. Since D-Day, we texted a little, but about nothing. He almost always texted first, and I answered with just a few words, nothing more. I didn't feel the need to talk. But for the past few days, I have been struggling with the overwhelming need to contact him and meet him. The anger has been replaced with longing. I can't stand the thought that I don't know where he is, what he is doing, how he is. I know this piece of advice, that I should focus on myself, I know, but I can't. I try to make myself busy, but my obsessive thoughts about him never leave me. Yesterday, I was in cinema and I barely remember the movie because I thought about him all the time. And I constantly checked my phone with hope he would call me. I check his status on Messenger dozens of times a day. When he is offline for a few hours during the day, I create stories in my head about what he is doing. I told my therapist about my need to meet him and talk to him. She told me that he is still my husband, so if I want to text him or meet him, I shouldn't fight with this feeling and just do it because I have a right to. And it isn't about showing weakness, but about going through the situation on my terms instead of adjusting what I was put in without my consent. She told me I shouldn't pretend that I don't exist and hide underground, making his life easier, but give him some of the burden that I carry and that he should also face. But she also told me that I should firstly think about the purpose of conversation with him. And I can't see the purpose. I feel a craving for our conversation, but what would we talk about? How's your new life? How's your new relationship? How are you in our flat without me? It's pointless. How do you deal with no contact and not knowing how your ex-partner is? Do you have experience with breaking no contact? And we do have a second update. Yesterday, I met up with my husband for the first time in 2 months. We had to talk about selling our shared property and the divorce. The conversation was pretty calm, and we even chatted a bit about how things have been. But after the meeting, I completely fell apart. I knew exactly why we were meeting. We needed to sort out practical stuff. But deep down, there was still this tiny bit of hope that he'd show up and say he missed me over these past 2 months. Maybe even that he regretted what he did. But he didn't. Not a single word like that. I thought I'd been doing okay these past few weeks, but seeing him just tore the wound open again. He looked good, had new clothes, and it was another moment of realizing that this really is the end. He was my best friend for half of my life, and yesterday we talked like total strangers. Today I woke up at 4 in the morning because I dreamt he stayed with me. I can't stop crying for 7 hours. And to top it off, he told me that our mutual friends had asked him to be the godfather of their child in the middle of all this. I trusted them. I even gave them the keys to my new apartment just in case. And in return, I got a smack in the face. I'm going to confront them, thank for the help, take my keys back, and end this friendship. I'm done with them. I don't want people in my life who do not only accept what he did, but actually seem to support it. What do you think about this situation? Do I overthink it? If you have any advice, please share. And there's the third update. Yeah, it takes time, dude. It takes time.
Yeah,
It took me a very, very, very long time to get over my first relationship.
to me, it feels like you ever see those it's like those things that like in the sand, like those people that like do that thing with the sand, they make the sand art.
Yep.
Start.
Is that what it's called?
No.
Don't
But
do this.
yes.
Sart. Anyways, they do the sart, and let's say you put like a big rock in the middle of it.
A big rock start.
Well, you put a layer of salt or sand. You do it, sand. You do it, but every time you get to that rock, you're still gonna have to avoid it a little bit because that's like
Yeah.
damage to the land or like a piece of the land. So until that sand can overcome that rock, no matter how big or small it is, it's gonna take time, and you're still gonna have to like learn how to navigate around it,
Yeah.
and that takes time. Or I heard some experts they do like EMDR therapy or something, and they're able to process it faster and add more sand to their smart, whatever. But that's the way I look at it and how to approach those kind of things.
One day you'll get that sand.
Zen Garden, that's what it is.
We broke up in November 2024. 2 weeks later, I moved out and started living alone in a beautiful apartment in my dream part of the city. The first weeks were awful, lots of crying, sometimes the kind where you can barely breathe. I didn't want to believe it happened. I just wanted my old life back because I didn't recognize the one I woke up to. Every morning, my first thought, and every night, my last, was that I lost the love of my life. The sadness literally hurt. I lost not only my favorite person, but also my identity and my routine. What helped me back then was people. I learned to ask for help, to ask friends to come over and just sit with me. I knew I couldn't go through this alone. I also kept busy. I started going out alone to restaurants, to the movies, to concerts, and it felt weird at first, but I kept pushing myself. Every time, I felt a little proud and a little better afterwards. And the walking. I walked 4 to 5 times a week, 2 to 3 hours each time, because I couldn't stand being in an empty apartment. At first, it was just a way to waste time, but slowly it started to calm me down, and it helped my health too. Solo traveling as well became my favorite thing. It showed me that I'm actually great company for myself. Years ago, I was deeply sad, but I also felt peace. The war was finally over. Everything I was so afraid of had already happened, so I could finally rest. Then spring came, and so did better days. Week by week, the sadness and anger faded. I started forgetting pieces of our old life and replacing them with new, my own memories. In the beginning, I couldn't believe this new life was really mine. Now I can't believe that old one ever was. Feels like it happened to someone else. And how is it now? I still have bad days, especially now in the fall. I'm still healing, and I know it'll take more time. Do I think about him? Every day. When I pass our favorite cafe, but now I'm not afraid of drinking coffee there. When I hear our song, but I don't skip it anymore. When I visit a place we plan to see together, but now I just make new memories there. Better for me. When I achieve something, but he's no longer the first person that I want to tell about it. I'll never forget what happened. I'll always remember that night when I cried so much I thought I would lose my life from heartbreak. Changed me forever, but there's still a whole life ahead of me, one that is worth living and fighting for. What did that breakup teach me? that nothing lasts forever. And it's sad, but true. You can't hold on to anything too tightly or take it for granted. You always need to be ready to say goodbye to people, places, things. Loving harder doesn't fix anything. Someone wants to leave, they will, and you'll just lose respect for yourself trying to stop them. When I found out about the cheating, I was ready to beg him to think it over. I was ready to forgive, but he didn't want to. Now I'm thankful for that. The breakup happened at the best time. I'm still young, and we had no kids. It saved me years of my life. And no contact. There is a power in not knowing. In the first weeks, I was obsessed. I stalked him everywhere, trying to guess where he was and what he was doing. Now I live peacefully not knowing, and I don't want to know. We last saw each other in June to sort out some things, and since then, no contact. I even told our mutual friends not to tell me anything about him, even if I asked. My last act of love for myself and for what we once had is that he'll never hear from me again. Maybe one day I'll forgive him. Not now. But that forgiveness will be for me, not for him. I want to forgive myself for losing self-respect when I was tearing myself apart trying to save the marriage just to feel loved for a little longer. You don't need closure or final conversation. Don't chase answers. Don't chase closures. For me, the closure is knowing I did everything I could for this marriage. You have to accept that you will never get all the answers, and that's okay. And probably you will never understand their actions, and that's your superpower. You're not like them. Don't ignore your gut feeling. If you feel something's wrong, it probably is. And a little self-love corner. What rent right this year? I bought my first apartment.
All right.
A year ago, we were building a house together that later had to be sold. Today, I walked into my own place in my dream neighborhood. I got promoted.
Oh.
Work was the only stable thing in my life, and throwing myself into it paid off. I traveled solo a lot. My first solo trip was local, and it showed me I could actually enjoy my own company. Then I went abroad, and later to the U.S. I'm from the EU. Visiting the U.S. was my teenage dream. Okay, Katy Perry. Now, solo travel doesn't scare me at all. I've been to my favorite seaside city, the mountains, Lisbon, Rome, New York, Copenhagen, and still counting. I organized a mountain weekend with my friends for my 30th birthday. The whole weekend, I didn't miss him even for a second. I had so much fun and felt surrounded by amazing people. I started running, and I used to hate it. Now I can easily run 5 to 7 kilometers. I did my first 5K and recently ran 10K for the first time ever. I think all those long walks through fall and winter helped me get here. So much has happened. Enough good things to fill a few lives. And this is still just the beginning. And what about dating? I'd like to start dating again, but honestly, I feel paralyzed with fear. The idea that someone new, like from a dating app, could tell me anything about themselves and I'd have no way of knowing if it's true, it terrifies me. I'm just so scared of being lied to again. I would never lie to you about. The full episodes with stories just like this one that we have just waiting for you over there on Spotify or iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening to podcasts. If you love us, why don't you go on over there and search OK Storytime and get to listening.
Yep.
All right, let's finish this. I can see how much I
Snuggle.
with trust now, not just in romantic relationships, but in general. I question everything people say or do. I always look for the hidden meaning or the trap. Right now, I'm kind of stuck in a situationship with a longtime friend. Uh-oh. That sounds messy. I know it's going nowhere, but it gives me some dopamine, so it is what it is.
Twerk it, girl.
And finally, a few words to end with. Believe me, in the end, it will work out. You'll be okay. One day, you'll wake up and realize it's behind you. You'll feel detached, calm, and the weight won't feel so heavy anymore. Let it hurt, and then let it go. And that is the end of that story.
My father stole my savings to buy a house and never put my name on it.
Put my name on that house.
I, 24 female, live with my boyfriend, 27 male, for 1.5 years. And he has a mortgage. I lived with him since May, 6 months. He's well made, earns buckets more than me, and never asks me for money to pay for things if he can help it. By the way, this comes from username medicalby6049. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Vincent.
I'm Savannah.
I'm Riley.
And guys, we're here to give good advice goofily, but I mean, Savannah and I, we don't know all the answers. We know almost nothing, but we only know what we would do. So tell us what you would do in the comments. Opie says, the deeds and the mortgage are all in his name since he bought it. And I am currently jobless as I got made redundant from the job I had, so I can't help out much. I still pay 20% to 30% of the bills, though, since it's only fair. I'm doing random jobs I can find. Pet sitting, selling on Vinted, and temp admin to keep my account from going empty because my entire savings of $45K since I was 17 years old. All of her savings, that $45K since 17 years old, are with her dad. He bought the house next door to put on rent, and the property is going in his will for me and my 2 siblings. I thought it was a good future investment since I got my $45K back with interest, which would put me at $50K and 1 1/3 houses to inherit since our family home goes solely to me. And the new house will be split between me and my 2 siblings. My dad never steered me wrong before, so I did it. Being jobless, though, is getting difficult. I've had arguments about my money with my mom, barely getting me $5K, of which she said was her money she's given to me. My spending habits, she forces me to show her my bank account, bills which she says I shouldn't be paying because it's not my house, literally any money that leaves my account since I left because the $45K was taken when I was with my parents and had a job. So OP's mom said things like, I don't want you to have too much money, then spend it all. I don't know if I want to give you your money back because of him. I gave you my $5K and now I'm struggling too. And similar things even though they owe me that darn money in the first place. The recent argument was about my name being on the title deeds of my boyfriend's house. We thought it'd be best to wait until marriage, but recently my BF suggested that I get my $45K back. I could put some money in the house and get my name on the deed and the mortgage since I've been stressed, and my mom is high-strung about it. My parents both seem to think he's using me and manipulating me to try to lower his mortgage now, but I've worked in remortgaging as a caseworker. This is normal, isn't it? They hate that we bought 2 cats. They think we're irresponsible. They don't like that I pay for the cat's food and he pays for the litter. They hate any money I spend here. My mom says it was all a mistake and I would never be spending so much money if I was still at home. It sounds like you have an issue with mom and dad. It sounds like mom and dad don't like you
they don't
not
want to
being...
put you in charge of the money.
Yeah, or like they
don't trust you with it.
I think you have too much, like your parents have too much access. Your parents know everything that you're doing with your money?
My parents do too. My mom does.
Yeah?
My mom's so it's not that I like have like linked accounts or anything. Like I have my own account, but she obviously has like access to it, and she takes money out of mine to like pay for like car insurance or pay for, you know, this and that and the other thing. So like that's how she gets her money. Yeah.
For like stuff that they're helping you, because like you're still on their car insurance, yeah.
Well, car insurance. So the insurance is in my name and her name.
Family plan.
Family plan. Mostly because my mom just like, she likes to have things like that. She likes to be in control. But honestly, do it because I don't want to do it.
Now they're saying I should only put my name on the house, not the mortgage. That I shouldn't have to pay him or be on the mortgage. I think that's wrong, but now I'm starting to doubt myself. Okay, there's a verdict. What do you think so far?
1 for a-hole, 2 for not the a-hole.
Well, who's the a-hole? OP?
Yes.
I mean, is it her money or is it her and her dad's money? I don't like. That's where I'm kind of confused.
So it was her money that she gave to her dad, I believe, or her dad had access to it, because I know like a lot of times like kids. Actually, I'm not 100% sure. Riley, do we know if it? I think it. I think
with 45K in savings is struggling as their dad invested it in a house, facing financial and family tensions.
Yeah.
Okay,
so it is her, but the dad invested it,
okay. So would she be the a-hole for like
wanting it back.
and doing something different with it?
Yes.
No, it's your money. It's your money. You can do whatever you want.
And that's what the verdict is. The verdict is not the a-hole. Relevant comments, OP should be looking into getting a good job or she wouldn't be in this mess. So OP, I literally got made redundant, and I did have a job when everything went down. I also said I'm taking temp jobs everywhere since I've had no luck with permanent ones. I am trying. Commenter number 1. Curious, why will your siblings not be getting a share of the family home? Is the 45K you mentioned in pounds or dollars? That was an impressive amount for a 17-year-old either way. If the 45K was deemed a gift, then you really aren't going to be getting it back from your parents. Honestly, your parents don't sound like very honest or moral people, so I'd not be taking any financial advice from them. OP responds, I was an only child at the time my parents wrote their wills, so I was the only one mentioned to inherit it. I asked them if they were going to change it for my siblings too, but they said it was too much hassle, apparently. The 45K is in pounds, and it took me from the age of 17 to 23 to save all of it because I started as an apprentice, so I didn't get much. I think you might be right. I don't want to get legal about things, even if I can with the circumstances, but I might have to. There's an update over 15 months later. So, what do you think's going to happen?
I got an idea. So, let me show you this. First of all, hate the red light. Yellow light's okay. Green light, yes. OP is in the will. And that's about all I got.
So OP was in the original will, but the two other siblings weren't at the time of the will writing, and the parents don't want to change it.
That's crazy that they don't want to change it.
Yeah, because
What?
it's quote unquote too much hassle.
So they're just not going to give them
Well,
any of
well,
that.
it's not. They're not getting the original family house. They're getting a third of
The new
the
house.
new
that they
house
have.
that they're buying.
Okay, so OP gets the old house.
OP gets the old house
Just to
plus
herself.
like interest on the money and a third of a house.
Wow. Okay, so we got this house. Then we got this house.
All right, update over 15 months later. Hi, all. I want to start by saying thank you to everyone who commented on my original post and opened my eyes. To cut to the chase, my boyfriend is now my fiancé. And we are planning for our wedding in the next 2 or 3 years. Money, lol. I won't be putting my name on his deed until after we are married. You were all right, and I think I was just angry at my parents for tricking me, so I wanted to do something reckless. To clarify some misunderstandings in the original post, I am from an Indian family, and I was raised to obey every command that comes from my parents, which is what made it difficult for me to stand up to them. I suffer with anxiety and depression, which I am now medicated for and doing well, which is what made it even harder. I was sheltered, coddled, and I didn't know how the world worked because I had no understanding of selfish and greedy people. The 45K in pounds that I lost was taken by my dad to buy the house next door to him and then rented out to my aunt who was being evicted from her flat at the time. I was told my name would be on the paperwork, but it wasn't. I have since grown a backbone, and my fiancé has helped me demand some legal paperwork and contract of agreement for my dad to pay me back every penny with interest. Yes!
Oh, wow.
Get that interest, girl. We need that. I've already received a good chunk of it, and it's going well. By the way, you know what else is going well?
What?
The fact that you can listen to more episodes of OK Story Time just like this one, with more stories just like this one, just go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, or your favorite podcast purveyor and look up OK Story Time. There's another relevant update to discuss. But yeah, I mean, good. It sounds like things are working out. And get your money back. And I wonder how things went with the will.
I have some thoughts.
Savannah's got some more.
This calls for a truly devastating realization. Also, here's OP not being able to stick up for themselves. And look, they have a little top hat because it's top of the morning to you St. Patrick's Day. And then, oh yeah, I also drew, I drew the house over here, but then realized there's two houses. So then this is the old house, that's OP's house. And this is the house, this is the new house that I forgot to label, but that is the house that that everyone gets the 1/3 of, huh? Yeah. And then I also put, give me the money, because you gotta give OP the money. And that's all.
All right, fantastic. Now let's get into this. I think it's just a continuation of the update. All right.
Okay.
So it's strained, but I think I have a bit more of my parents' respect now as well, since I've put my foot down about my money. I should have it all back before our wedding, which is something I wrote into the contract, since the money can be used in the wedding instead. Things are going well. I've grown from this, and I'm moving forward with a better understanding. In short, put your foot down, don't let people walk all over you, and don't make decisions in anger. Thank you all for opening my eyes. Relevant comment. Commenter number 1. Oh, excellent. So good to hear. If I might just ask, is it really necessary to wait up to 3 years to get married? No one has to have a huge, expensive wedding, and just being married doesn't cost anything more than the cost of 2 people living together. OP responds, thankfully my family doesn't expect a big Indian wedding, and I've grown up in the UK, so I have no interest in either. To be honest, the 2-3 year mark is just an estimate. If we save money quickly enough, we'll just do it next year. We're just extra cautious people because the wedding will cost, the honeymoon will cost, and we will still need money after that for paying for all of that jazz. Okay, and then that's the end. Yeah, finances are definitely a thing to take into consideration with all of those things. So yeah, no rush.
My wife exposed me in front of all our friends. Now I want divorce.
It's over.
Guys, I literally don't know what to do after this weekend. The issue here happened Saturday night. We had our friend group over. There are 6 of us couples in there, and we were hosting at our house. The night was progressing pretty normal. We had done dinner, and we're just hanging out on the couches, chatting. By the way, this comes from Jumpy Discipline 5826. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
And I'm Savannah.
This story in my hands will be read by us, and we will give good advice, goofily, maybe. Who's to say? We don't know all the things. We only know the things we know. Tell us the things you know in the comments. And OP says, everyone had been drinking over the course of the evening, so we were all pretty comfy. My wife, Amy, of course all the names are fake, was talking with one of the other girls about my new job. I recently got a promotion that comes with a nice little raise. The downside is that I have to travel a decent amount, up to 2 weeks a month, but only 3 to 4 days at a time at most. We were excited for the changes the extra income will provide and how it will change our future. So the travel was something we agreed to being worth it. As they were chatting, her friend Pamela was talking about how they make it work since her husband also travels for work a lot. The conversation was actually quite helpful, honestly, in a lot of ways, as there were some good ideas in there. That is, until it happened. Heidi jokingly said, and be sure to order some spicy sleep toys that are the same size as him, so you can still have spicy sleep while he's gone. Now, she was giggling, just making light of the fact that I would be gone, and that the biggest challenge they had was the interruption to their spicy sleeping life. No harm in this, right? That is, until my wife says it. I don't think they make them that tiny. Guys, I went totally pale. Everyone stopped talking, and you could just feel the awkwardness in the room. I think she realized what she had said because she tried to backpedal, but the damage was done. I just stared at her in disbelief. She just kept trying to backpedal and saying, "I'm so sorry." I just stood up and walked out. I didn't know what to say or do. I headed over to a buddy's house. I was sober. I don't drink. I didn't tell him the story, just that we had an argument, but I feel so violated by Amy. Now, the backstory here, what she said is most likely true. I am not endowed at all. I have known this my whole life, basically. Any guy can back me up when I say we are all conscious of our size. I'm just underneath a size 3 shoe size. I have always been super insecure about this. But the spicy sleep life was also never lacking because I made up for it in other ways in the bedroom, and she has never lacked in the moment department, and we just get there in other ways sometimes. Now here's where I feel like the a-hole. I want to divorce her. I feel so violated. I feel like I can never see these friends again. I feel like all they will be thinking about when I'm around her is her comment and how tiny is it really? It sounds like, I mean, on a real level, bro, it sounds like you need therapy to address this because it feels like you've got like almost your whole self-worth wrapped up in the fact that it's small.
And that is fine. And guess what? You still landed a wife. Like, I feel like some people like take that as like, oh, I'll never find someone because everyone's going to be like, no one wants that, blah, blah, blah. But like, to each their own, you know? Like, it's what other people prefer as well as what you prefer, you know? I'm trying to make light of the situation.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. My a-hole feeling comes in because I have also known for a long time that it is small, so I steered into the skis, I guess you could say, and am more submissive in the bedroom and enjoy it when she pokes fun at it in the bedroom, but that was just us. But I just feel so violated with it being public knowledge now. I may have also made my bed here with the dirty talk, so I don't know. And for those wondering, yes, she has called and texted a ton yesterday apologizing for outing me, but I told her I needed space for a bit. Honestly, I don't even know if I'll read the replies. I just needed to vent this somewhere, and I have no one to talk to about it. My buddy I'm staying with just thinks we had a fight. I feel so lost. I feel like an a-hole, but just don't know if I can trust her again or feel secure enough to see any of them again. And there are some relevant comments here. I mean, we've we've talked about this in a good amount, I think.
Yeah. I just think there is a big insecurity. This is like part of like, I wouldn't say like your personality or whatever, but it's something that is constantly on your mind, I feel, you know, like just obviously just hearing you talk about it. So I feel like this can definitely be something that you can talk about with someone like therapy wise or whatever, but also I understand that it's like a weird, touchy subject. So like, how do you go about this? But that's why they're there, you know, like they're not there to judge you. They're there to like help you feel better about specific things in your life.
Yeah, this shouldn't be something that you just kind of got to own it a little bit.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you just got to own it. Be like, yeah, it's
can't
small.
Do anything about it.
It's small. My wife's still hotter than yours.
Yeah. And like it can go to like any aspect. Like it could be, you know, like someone could get you on like height. Like someone, you know, could be like, oh, like they're short, blah, 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 that stuff. And like, that's how, you know, that's like their insecurity. Or like, oh, this guy's bald. He can't like grow hair or whatever, blah, blah, blah. That's his insecurity. Like, it's like, you know, I don't know, like pick and choose what you want to affect you, I guess.
Yeah.
Everyone sucks.
I don't think you should divorce your wife over this.
Yeah. I don't think, if you have a happy marriage besides like this, I think that this is like a little bump in the road. But
yeah, a little bump.
Oh, and it didn't even mean to do that.
See, but that's why you just gotta lean into it, because it's never gonna go away.
A tiny 3-inch bump.
It's never gonna go away. So you just have to own it and be cool about it. You know?
You just gotta accept it and just be like, yeah.
You are more than your member. OP replies to some comments here. Thanks for the input. I plan on having a talk with her about it today. I just feel like my trust was so violated that I don't know if it can be repaired again. That's my core issue more than anything. You phrased it well about the insecurity component that I think that will help me be able to constructively have a conversation. Thank you. Kevland279 says, it is possible that she already told the female friend group, which is why it came out easily. And there's an edit. It's about the character and maturity, not the friend's opinions. Opie says, honestly, that's a thought that has been in my head that I think makes me the most anxious. Well, I'm sorry. I'll tell you right now. Every one of her friends already knows about this.
Yes. This is like immediate knowledge. Like, this is like number one question. Like, girls ask. I will say, being part of like many different friend groups, if I go in being like, hey, I did it, and then they'll be like, that's the next question.
Then they'll be like, was it weird?
Describe it. Paint us a picture, will you?
But we do have a small update here. But before we get into it, the biggest thing is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who knows.
Yeah, it also doesn't matter. Like, what are they gonna do? Does it really affect their lives, or does it affect your life? What they think? Like, you're letting it affect you way more than it should.
You know what you got to do? You got to go to the bathhouse. You got to go to the bathhouse and just own that. You know, one of the most confident people I've ever seen at the bathhouse. Just there's nothing there. It's invisible. But they do not care. In fact, I think it's almost some sort of inverse like power loop where it's like normally it's like oh my god, like I should be embarrassed of this, but then you get into like a bath like a communal no clothes area type vibe,
tub.
And suddenly now it's like my greatest power is just walking around with, and it doesn't matter and no one cares because it's true. No one cares.
I go to the Korean spa sometimes, which is just complete, and it's really fun to walk around just being like, I'm the hottest one here. And they're all old Asian women. But it makes me feel fine.
That's one way to go about it. So in your head, so with your logic, what I just said would be the worst because people would look at that guy and go, thank God I'm not him. So you just turned my whole thing around on itself immediately.
But think of this, you're giving more people confidence.
Yeah, and you know what?
You're making other people feel better.
Not everyone's wired the same way internally, so you know what? Whatever. Maybe you do that. I don't know. This is why you should go to a professional and figure out how to cope with this. Because it is what it is.
Sometimes you gotta just do it. Just take it all off and be like, yeah, this is me. I dare you to say something.
There's a small update. Thanks to everyone for the comments, good and bad. Just a quick update that she and I are going to talk tonight. I'll be pushing couples counseling and talking about her drinking. This is not the first issue, just the first one like this. Thanks again, everyone. And here's the real update. First of all, I just want to say thank you to everyone who commented or messaged. Blah, 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 blah. The general consensus I walked away with from all the comments was that I may have jumped straight to thinking about divorce, but that I was not the a-hole for being hurt and feeling betrayed, exposed, or whatever word fits. That helped me see it from a different lens for sure. Long story short, we sat down to talk about everything. I'm going to give the bullet points because I don't think I could even begin to write out the whole conversation. She apologized for saying it and admitted that she wasn't really thinking because of the drinking. She also told me that she genuinely didn't know because while I may be smaller, I am good at ensuring she is happy, so she's never really used or looked at those type of things. I do believe this because we have some things that haven't been used in years.
See, there you go. Like, your girl's still happy. Like, why not? I don't think you need to be overthinking it,
Yeah. I brought up how I felt exposed and humiliated by what happened and explained that it was different from what we do in private. She agreed and understood where I was coming from. By the way, you can go to your favorite podcast platform and look up OK Storytime, and there you will find full episodes of stories just like this. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever. Just search OK Storytime. And we are coming up on the tail end of this story. Are they staying together? I hope so.
I completely agree with the comments saying like you just completely jumped, and was like, oh, I divorce, I'm done. That's it. I think it was unexpected and it surprised a lot of people, caught you off guard, and you're allowed to process that. But I think like don't go with immediate gut reaction because now that you're sitting and talking, now you get to hear her side. And she's like, I didn't even really notice it. Just like, I still feel like good about what we do and who we are. And everything like that. So I just don't think that this really is that big of an issue, you know? And that's great to hear from your partner. Like, that's the perfect thing to hear from your partner, that she is still satisfied no matter what.
Perfect scenario. We both agreed that, completely unrelated to this issue, she has been drinking too much in general. I stopped drinking a long time ago for health reasons, and she's going to stop for the time being as well. We're both going to start individual counseling and then couples counseling in a few weeks. We have our own individual things to work on as well as things to work on together. There were lots of emotions, tears, and some anger at times throughout the talk, but I think it helped us. For now, we move forward. I don't know exactly what I feel, but I know that I also have to fix myself and my own mind. Not really a conclusive ending, but it's where we are, and I feel like we're going to be okay. Thanks again. And that is the end of that story.
My friend got caught as an Instagram mistress. Now she wants me to help her.
Ooh, someone's being naughty.
My friend Joanne, 23 female, and I have been friends since we were at university together. We both settled where we attended university afterwards and both got jobs in the area. We have friends in the area from university, work, neighbors, and so on. We're not best friends, but we have been fairly close. By the way, this comes from Friendth. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Savannah.
And I'm Vincent.
And we are here to give some good advice goofily, but we do not have all of the answers you freaking seek. We're only going to tell you what we would do in this situation, but I would love to hear what you would do in this situation. As OP says, Joanne actually got me my job. She had already been hired when she noticed another position that suited me was available. So she told me and put in a good word for me, and I got the job. I'm very grateful for that and always will be. Last week, Joanne was fired. I wasn't around at the time and heard about it afterwards. There were many rumors floating around, but the one most people seemed to be sticking to was that she had been running an Instagram mistress page. Not good, honey. Honestly, I didn't believe it at first, but when we spoke about it, she admitted it, and I was pretty shocked. I could understand if she was struggling financially in doing this, but we make a decent salary for our age in our field. I had noticed she had been able to get fancier things than me, but I thought that was because I was just better at saving money than her. I asked her why, and she said the job wasn't paying enough, and she loved the control she had over the men that sent her money whenever she wanted. But she pointed out she had never done anything in person, though I'm honestly not sure whether to believe that or not. Our friends found out about this, and some didn't really care. Some were harsh, and some have just stopped talking to her. I'm not going to do that because even though I don't necessarily agree with her choices, she's still my friend. However, the problem this has caused is that Joanne wants me to help convince our friends that it isn't a big deal and to help her get her job back. Conveniently bringing up how she helped me get my job.
Ooh, she's pulling on the old, I scratch your back, you scratch mine.
Oh.
Like some quid pro quo.
Now I'm stuck. The friends who have decided to cut her off, I see that as their choice to make since they saw this as a deal breaker for their friendship. And that's not something I want to interfere in since they're grown adults and I don't want to go to them and try to tell them who to be friends with. That's true. I wouldn't want to do that either. Also, even though she did help me get the job, I don't want to jeopardize my own career over something she has done. But at the same time, she has made me feel guilty by bringing up the job. In other ways, she has helped me in the past. I'm pretty conflicted, really, and there's an edit. I really want to know what this page entails and why she would get, fired from her job for doing something outside of her job, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can get fired for your job for doing things outside of the job. That's pretty common. If you're a jerk in the real world, they can fire you. OP, you shouldn't feel like you have to do anything because of guilt. This person made their own choices, and they kind of have to live with it. Don't let them guilt you into co-signing. Because that's another thing. If you are cool with them doing this stuff and potentially, I don't know, the ramifications, if she's just talk to guys, broken up families, that if you're cool with that, that means you're co-signing it. Don't feel like you need to do anything for this person. They helped you, yes, in the past, but don't let that guilt be the thing that holds you to them.
An Instagram mistress is normally a financial dominatrix.
Boy, did I call it.
Who uses Instagram to offer her services. Oh, there's a second edit here.
Okay.
She was fired because she was uploading explicit photos and videos to the Instagram page, and some of them were apparently taken while she was at work.
Oh, okay. So it's of the
So,
spicy variety.
Yeah. There are some relevant comments. When told it sounds like her friend is a sugar baby, she's not a sugar baby. An Instagram mistress is someone who is a financial dominatrix over Instagram. She humiliates guys and controls their finances from what I understand, and they have to do as she says or she punishes them. I haven't personally seen the page, but there are numerous adult photos and videos on it. It has to do with her job because it looks bad for the business that someone connected with it is basically doing adult content, especially since she has to meet potential clients a lot. I don't necessarily agree with the decision to fire her over it, but I can see where the bosses are coming from. Also, there were videos and photos that were clearly taken at work, which is all secondhand information, but she didn't deny it when I brought it up. 1 through 0 says she should have lost her job because you just should know that you don't do that at work. As for friends, I don't see what the big deal is. The way I feel is we're all parties consenting adults, then it's not my business how you make your money. OP responds, whilst I agree with the consenting adults part, one of my friends, when I said this to her, told me, so 2 people who are cheating, but the husband or wife isn't.
So here it is. It's like 2 people who are cheating, they're having a relation with each other, who are consenting adults. But the person who is being cheated on is not a consenting adult. That is what they're saying.
That's great. There's an update. I would just like to say thank you to the people who actually gave advice and didn't just criticize one of the parties involved or get on my back about it. I'm from England, and this has developed overnight after a night out. First, I would just like to clarify something. In my original post, I said that I felt she deserved what happened to her, and people got on my back about it. I didn't explain it properly, but my thoughts were that she had a job she has wanted since she was a teenager and called it her dream job, one that she could advance up in the ladder in for years to come since she was lucky enough to get it. Straight out of university. I think she brought it on herself because she should have known that if she got caught, she was gone, especially since she had her own face on the page. That was my other question is like, did it show her face or did it not? But if you showed your face, then, you know, kind of screwed. Did it to yourself.
That's real ramifications, man. Consequences. Once you put your face out there with all of that stuff, it's out there forever. The internet never forgets.
Yeah. I don't really think she deserves to lose all her friends, but they have completely different deal breakers to me, so I can understand their stance. I wouldn't just be like, I'm not friends with you anymore. My friend literally, when I visited her, she was like, I kind of want to start a Foot Finders, get extra cash. I'm like, freaking do it. Why not?
I mean, that one's a little bit safer because it's faceless.
Right?
Yeah.
Just my toes. I went out to a bar with some friends and had spoken to Joanne earlier, and she seemed upset, so I felt like I would get to the bottom of why there was such hostility towards her. The main reasons given by the group were as follows. Joanne had a very good job that she had wanted for years, and she had thrown it away for either personal fantasies, greed, or both. They said this wasn't really a big deal on its own, but it was a factor. They wouldn't care if she was just a dominatrix, as they had done similar things in the past with their boyfriends, not as paid dominatrixes. The issue was that her Instagram page was encouraging people to bankrupt themselves for her and was encouraging married men to make her their priority over their wives and children based on how she titled her photos and videos. Yeah, that's a pretty sticky situation to get into.
Mm-hmm.
They also said they wouldn't speak to her if she was pursuing a relationship with a married person. And while they could understand if she didn't know someone was married, actively seeking out married men as her primary clients was something they found disgusting, even if she was just playing a role. Yeah.
I agree with that.
Okay. Yeah, that's true, because if she was like a mistress, then she is going after already married men. So, yeah. Agree with my cat's name is Karen. That's called a homewrecker.
Yeah, and that has real-world consequences
Yeah.
with innocent bystanders called children.
Yeah, I
That's not
thought
bueno.
this was just like a thing for like single people, but yeah.
You can never
now
know.
I'm like, I'd be like, dude, you're like actively putting yourself in this situation though, so I don't feel bad for you. So yeah, I admittedly don't know much about financial domination, but apparently they had made up their minds and there's nothing I can do about that. Their minds, their lives. By the way, I hope you don't mind that I'll keep telling you to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app, and just search up OK Story Time. There's a little bit left. Any final thoughts?
You're being upfront with your friend, and the decision was like, hey, I don't feel bad for you, but like I'm not going to stand up because you kind of did something that's potentially very crappy.
Yeah.
And like, if it's anything like gambling, I'm trying to equate it in my brain to something else that I know what, like, how it affects people.
I think, yeah.
Like, if it's like gambling where it's like, this can put these people in financial ruin, and if this puts a family in financial ruin, That's not good. But also, yeah, OP, you're fine. Just, I don't know, have distance that you need. Don't do anything because you feel bad for them.
I don't really feel bad for her because she's doing it to herself. Like, it's one thing to like do it to people who are into that, who are single, but then it's another thing to do it to, and obviously she wouldn't know. She's just doing it for the money. So like that I understand. Like, it's not like you're asking your client, so are you married? I mean, maybe she is. I'm not sure.
Could you ever know in the internet age, unless you know the person personally? Could you ever know?
That's true.
Yeah.
So the problem this morning was that Joanne phoned me after she saw a tagged photo of me on Facebook from the night before. She asked me if I had managed to sort things out with our friends, and I told her no. They had made their decision, and I straight up told her I wouldn't be involving myself with her job situation as it was her mistake that cost her, and I didn't want to damage my professional life over it, which is a great thing to do, OP. You should look out for yourself because you don't want to be dragged down with her from her decisions. I know she got you the job and everything. That's very nice of her. But if she starts making like crappy mistakes, then that's not someone you want to associate yourself with, you know?
Absolutely.
She went on a rant about what a pathetic person I was and how nobody really liked me and they just pitied me. I hung up and proceeded to block her on everything without even reacting to what she said. I was one of the only people who hadn't ditched her. But I'm not going to get treated poorly just because she isn't getting her own way. And there are some final comments. Deleted says, well, it seems everything ended as best as it could. Joanne messed up and refused to accept the consequences of her actions. Everyone in your group seems to have judged her for legitimate reasons like encouraging cheating and not out of prudishness. She seems like an immature person all around and you're best without her contact. OP responds, yeah, I thought it was stupid of her to turn on one of the only people who had stood by her. I didn't really care about what she did even though I thought it was idiotic. But I'm not getting spoken to like that for something she's done. She showed her true colors. Mr. Eck says, I'm not sure if this is common for government, my job, or just common sense, but my contract with my government employer actually has a clause that you can be fired for anything that could negatively affect the image or publicity of the employer, regardless of whether it's personal or professional. On the update, honestly, it worked out for the best of you. It wouldn't take long for people to start questioning and judging you for her actions if you were still friends. There, yeah. Agreed. I do respect that you didn't just cut her off, but she needs to realize how massively she messed up. OP responds, yeah, I went through my contract and that was in there. I thought it was just an acceptable use policy, but yeah, this was definitely part of it. And that's the end.
My friend's future mother-in-law humiliated her, so I poured a glass of wine on her.
That's pretty hardcore.
I, 25 female, have a best friend, 26 female, named Veronica. Veronica got engaged 6 months ago, and she and her fiancé, 29 male, have been dating for 3 years. Her fiancé is a great guy and treats her very well. However, his mom, on the other hand, is a real pain. By the way, this comes from username Burleyspispam. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Vincent.
And I'm Savannah.
Guys, and we're here to give good advice goofily, but we only know what we would do. We don't have all the answers. We barely know anything. So tell us what you would do in the comments.
I actually know a lot, and that's very offensive.
Says one person. All right, never mind. So as OP says, ever since her fiancé introduced her to Veronica, his mom has been giving her heck. She even went as far as throwing a birthday party for Veronica's fiancé and didn't even invite Veronica or me. And we didn't find out until Veronica's sister-in-law told us and asked, why weren't we there? Veronica hates the way her future mother-in-law treats her, but she stays quiet to keep the peace. She made me promise to stay quiet as well as to ensure her fiancé doesn't find out, because she fears he will take his mother's side and break up with her. I had been holding my tongue until recently when we both had a dinner party with both sides of the family, and Veronica invited me. While we were waiting for the food to be ready, there was a knock at the door. Veronica's future mother-in-law enthusiastically ran to get it like she was expecting someone, but we all thought everyone was already here. When she opened the door, it was some woman we didn't recognize, or so I thought. Veronica told me it was her fiancé's ex.
Wow.
I was livid and was ready to say something, but Veronica begged me not to, and I respected her wishes, even though she looked like she was on the verge of tears. We all sat down for dinner, and I could not think of a more awkward moment. No one said a word until Veronica's future mother-in-law spoke and introduced her son's ex to everyone, acting like it was completely normal that she was there. I kept my mouth shut until she started comparing Veronica to her fiance's ex, saying things like, "I wish Veronica could cook like her," and "You look so in shape, unlike Veronica, who is more on the chubby side," and "You and my son are great together. You should try again and see if you could make things work." Veronica ran to the bathroom, crying. I lost it and started yelling at her that she was disgusting for doing that to Veronica and that she deserved anything that came her way. Then, without thinking, I picked up a glass of wine and poured it on her. She screamed at me, and Veronica's fiancé demanded that I apologize, but I ignored him, grabbed Veronica, and took us home. I expected Veronica to be angry at me, but she wasn't. However, she and I have been getting attacked by her fiancé and his relatives, all demanding that she and I apologize to his mother and everyone else for ruining the dinner party. They are all calling me the bad guy, but Veronica and my family think I did nothing wrong. So, am I the a-hole? Whoa,
That's crazy.
that's nuts. Yeah, so they're not getting married. Fiancé didn't take Veronica's side. This is a blessing in disguise. You're not going to get married. That means you're not going to get divorced from this guy. And when you marry someone, you marry their family. That is feral behavior.
Did the mother-in-law invite the ex?
Yes, the mother-in-law invited the ex to the party and then started comparing the fiance's ex to the friend who is the current fiance and saying things like, "She's more fit. She cooks better. You guys should really try to work it out," and trying to break them up on the spot.
Okay. Who was the one that threw the...
Veronica's friend. So OP dumped the protecting her friend because her friend was trying to keep the peace, but she was just getting beaten down.
Wow. Yeah, this actually is a blessing in disguise because, my God, what a freaking disaster that was.
Yeah, and also, I don't think you're the a-hole. People misbehave. I once had a guy tell me, like, sometimes when people are being dumb and they feel entitled that they can treat people poorly, sometimes the only way they learn a lesson, I don't want to say this, they need to get a slap on the wrist or harder, you know? Consequences.
A little to the gut.
Consequences stick in people's brains.
A little knee to the ovary.
Stella, you're saying OP is underreacting. Yeah, and especially like her friend is definitely underreacting. Her friend sounds like she has like some like self-worth that she needs to work on. Like, you know, no one needs to stand for that.
Yeah.
There's an update. I showed Veronica all of your comments and she finally is seeing the light. She told me she realizes that the treatment she has been getting from her future mother-in-law and her fiancé isn't going to change. So she has decided to end the engagement. Good! She said she's going back to the house tomorrow to talk to both him and his mother about what happened and let out everything she has been holding in for almost 4 years. And trust me, it is a lot. She is also taking your advice about the house and getting a lawyer involved because it doesn't seem fair or logical for her to leave when she's done nothing wrong. This is what Veronica told me to tell you all. Thanks for all your comments and advice, and I hope I will find someone else who treats me right and doesn't have a terrible mother. Those were her words exactly. And thank you to everyone who said I am a great friend. I just couldn't let Veronica take all of that from her soon-to-be ex-fiancé and his mother. By the way, you don't have to go a day without listening to full episodes with stories just like this one. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast purveyor and look up OK Storytime. There's another relevant update to discuss. Thoughts?
I mean, mine's just the same as before. Blessing in disguise and, get out of it. And I do think that you should take the house.
Okay, we're just going to get right into the update then.
Fine.
Veronica, her sister-in-law, and I went to her fiance's house and confronted him. Oh, you rolled up with a posse. Let's go. Veronica let out everything she had been holding back. And as her best friend, I can say I have never been prouder of her. She broke off the engagement with her now ex-fiancé and has never been happier. Her ex has been blowing up her phone and direct messages trying to get back together with her, and has even been following her around waiting for her outside of her job. Don't worry, though. She is threatening him with a restraining order. Don't threaten. Just do.
Yeah. Seems like that's what needs to happen here if you're showing up at your work.
1,000 feet, sir. Goodbye. Never see me again. But that's all for that story.
My friend demanded luxury wedding cakes for free. I refused and everything fell apart.
I don't work for free. I work for money.
To preface, this wedding wasn't going to happen until the vid clears up. Those involved are me, 22 female, the bride/friend Cassie, 24 female, and her fiancé Adam, 25 male. By the way, this comes from Throw Away That Cake. And if you want to submit your stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Savannah.
I'm Angie.
I'm Riley.
And we're here to give some good advice goofily, but obviously we don't have all the answers. If we did, then no one would have to write anything, and then we'd have nothing to do here. But thank God people are in trouble, and we're here to help. So we're going to tell you what we would do in this situation, but tell us what you would do in these comments. Alright? As Opie says, Cassie has always loved my cakes and asked me to make 8 for her wedding late last year. We agreed they'd be 1-tier cakes to be used as table centerpieces. I loved the idea.
What?
Wow.
A cake for each table?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Is that kind of... Do you think it's small cakes like what my mom made?
Well, it's 1-tier cakes.
They asked her to make 8 for her wedding. So
I don't know how I don't know the diameter.
I don't know the diameter.
Give us some dimensions here, OP.
But it just says 1 tier. So like just one. I'm guessing just like in what, an 8-inch cake usually I think is like
I mean, how many people are at these tables? How big
everyone
of a
gets their
cake do
own
they
cake.
need?
That would be so dangerous for me, especially when I'm like 3 drinks in.
I think we may get more specifics.
We agreed that they'd be decorated a particular way that wasn't too elaborate. I was happy with the arrangement and super excited by the prospect. Early January, she decided she wanted 3-tier cakes instead and wanted them decorated much more intricately. The intricacy wanted is nowhere near my ability. I don't really have the free time to learn how to do it either. I have a lot on my plate in my day-to-day life, and I knew even doing the 1-tier cakes would be a little tricky, but absolutely manageable. I politely said I couldn't do that and tried to offer a compromise. I offered to find a way to do 3-tier cakes, but more simplistic than she'd have liked. I also offered to get her in contact with a skilled friend of mine who I knew could do what she wanted. She'd have to pay, but the price would have been extremely good and they'd be beautiful cakes, worth every penny. She got very angry at this compromise effort. She called me selfish and told me I was sabotaging her big day. Oh, come on. Then demanded I do it for her while getting a few of her friends to send me rude and disheartening messages. This was heartbreaking for me, but I told her I could no longer do the cakes and she got angrier. We haven't talked since that until yesterday. I received a message yesterday acting like nothing happened, asking me to do the cakes again because I owed her.
Owed her? Owed her for what? What did you do? Did she make you 8 individual cakes for your wedding?
Yeah. In my head, I originally wanted you to do something, and now that you can't do that, you still owe me something. Because in my head, you had something to do for me. You know what I mean? That's what it makes sense.
She said I'd be a useless friend if I didn't. Okay, this girl needs to shut up.
Shut up.
I declined, and she chewed me out again, saying things that were unnecessary and I'd rather not repeat. I'd had enough. This had already been stressful for me, and I hated being dragged into it. I messaged Adam, sending him some screenshots, asking if he'd please make her stop lashing out. She was hurting, but I didn't deserve the things said. I didn't get a reply until today, where he apologized profusely. He told me she'd done this to another friend before me, and this was the straw that broke the camel's back for him, and he was going to call off the wedding until they'd been to counseling together. I thanked him for being understanding, but a few hours later, Cassie and her friends started pestering and threatening me. It's been horrible. My boyfriend is urging me to cut out Cassie, but I can't help feeling like an a-hole. If I made time to learn, this whole situation wouldn't be happening. So does that make me the a-hole? Am I being selfish? He's reassured me that I'm not, but I could really do with an outside perspective. So yeah, I'm going to say right now you're not the a-hole. And also the verdict here is also not the a-hole. So
If I had time to do this, then I would do it.
but
the
you
whole
didn't,
thing
though.
is that you don't have time.
The entire problem is that you don't have time, and also she's not even like going to pay you.
That's the other thing. Like, so you're just going to do all of this? Like, and it's not that she just wanted, originally it was just like 1 cake, 8 cakes. Cool. That's it. Now she's like, well, actually, I want them 3-tier. That's 24 cakes. Are you actually kidding me?
So why you are not going to eat that much cake?
No one's eating that much.
People do not like eat that much cake at events.
Yeah,
Because
honestly,
even if you want to, I feel like there's so much like social pressure. It's like, oh, just have a small piece, I guess. That's me at every cake filled event. I'm like, I guess I won't eat that much.
Not me. I go all in. I'm like, I'll take
That I need to be like
except
that,
for the
'cause I want
pavlova
it.
at Sophia's. I ate so much I couldn't.
Well, there wasn't enough of that.
There
for
also wasn't
the
enough. That's why I was like,
three
does
pieces
anyone want
each.
mine?
It was
I
so
feel
good
bad.
though. No,
I
it was
took
so
like
good.
2 bites. It was so good, but I was like, I can't finish it.
No,
I
it's
felt
okay.
bad.
I think everyone felt that way because we were just so full with the food too. But anyway, yeah, I think hiring your friends for something is such a tough thing because as someone who like I've had friends who have like wanted like a dress or alterations or something like that for free because like we're friends and stuff, and it's like I get that. But I get frustrated because I'm like, pay me. But then I also catch myself thinking about that too, about like, oh, well, maybe this friend can help me with this and it could be like a little bit cheaper or something like that because of that. And it's like, no,
I do
bad.
too. But I feel like that's, but I also don't expect them to. If they can't, like, I'll ask and be like, this is a fun part. Like my friend Nina, who does all of the logos for our sketch group and everything. She does that all for free, like for her own time. And she just made us another one for this new series that we're coming up with, guys. And it's amazing.
Yeah, they looked really good.
And I asked her, I'm like, do you like I said, you don't have to, but like if you can, like, cool. Like if not,
yeah, so I feel like it's only like a chill thing to like it makes a lot more sense to get free stuff from each other if it's like a back and forth thing. Like if you give them a lot of free stuff for things, you know what I mean? But if that's not part of the dynamic, don't expect it.
by the way, you can be part of our dynamic. If you want to listen to full stories with episodes just like this, go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app and just search up OK Storytime. And then we're all there. And there is an update. To touch on a few things I've seen mentioned, Cassie is now cut out. Woohoo! As are her friends. Another great thing. People saying I was being a doormat were completely right, and those few saying I need therapy also were. I've been actively looking for a therapist I click with. I used to be good at recognizing behavior akin to this, but lockdowns have taken a toll on my mental health. A few people mentioned a contract-style situation with a friend discount. I'll definitely do some thinking on that idea to try and help avoid situations like this happening again. For those saying I shouldn't have contacted Adam, I did on the sole basis that this was his wedding as well. I stand by my choice to contact him. I don't think it was bad to contact him. Because the other thing is, then, like, when you actually talked about it with him, he's like, this is the second time she's done this. Like, he just was like, yeah, so sorry, I'll take care of it. You know, been through this, pissing me off. We'll get it done.
It's not like
you know?
you're tattling. Like, you're friends with him too, and he's a part of this. Yeah.
For those mentioning getting the police involved,
What?
if any further threats happen, I will. Oh, yeah, because she was getting threatened. Sorry, I was still thinking, like, because she said no to cakes. I forgot that they were threatening her. I've documented everything that's happened so far just in case. That's actually the end. Wow.
Always keep everything in the documents. You have to. Because, like, whenever I did, like, videography, I'd have to have, like, yo, this is what's going to happen. This one's going to deliver. Because expectations could just fly all over the place.
My husband admitted his affair beside me in bed, then replaced me weeks later.
Honestly, can't even be mad about it. He told you.
It's been 1 year since D-Day. It feels like it was just yesterday, but also a lifetime ago. I remember waking up that morning with my head on his chest, feeling dread and panic about the state of our relationship, but also hopeful that maybe, just maybe, the tide was finally turning.
Dang.
By the way, this comes from Friendly Novel 4558, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Riley,
I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
and we're here to give good advice goofily.
Yep. But I'm in a blanket.
And if you guys have any comments, let us know down below.
Yeah, we're not experts in anything except, like, reading.
Yeah,
And even that's a little sketchy.
I shouldn't be reading this. Anyways, then I looked up at him He could see something was wrong. I asked him, something wrong? And he said, yes, and paused. I've been having an affair.
No. That's you just came out and said it? You didn't even like warm it up or like just like try to, elite it somewhere, like, give it a little prep time?
I went numb. I didn't believe it, honestly. I felt nothing. I just asked with who, and then the floodgates opened. I could barely get my words out. I felt so unbelievably hurt, angry, confused, shocked, everything gone in an instant. 10 years together, and our marriage was over, just like that. Think back at all the tears, all the conversations, the utter agony, the heck I was in for so long, trying to make some sense of things, trying to get answers, just consumed by it all. The bottomless pit of despair I couldn't crawl out of. Felt like a hole had been ripped open in me, and I couldn't stop the bleeding. Couldn't stop the pain, and yet no one could see it but me. His betrayal has been the most painful thing I've ever been through. While time, as slow moving as it can be during moments like this, helped me little by little, and I'm still struggling. I'm in so much pain, full of doubt, fear, confusion, anger. It's all still there. I'm trying my best to fight through it. I still have so many feelings. It's just been so messy and chaotic over the last 12 months. I think there's many things I could have done differently. I leaned on him way too much in the months following D-Day. I didn't want to reconcile, but I needed support. I needed him to witness the destruction, help pick up the pieces of me. I was in a total freefall, and I was desperately holding on to anything I could to survive, second by second sometimes. We spent a lot of days together, crying, holding each other. He made some efforts, but I wanted to believe they were sincere. I wanted to believe badly that he was truly remorseful and willing to do whatever it takes to make things right, especially after all the lies, secrets, and betrayals, mistreatments, and all the tickle truth that damaged me so deeply. I begged him to stop. It made everything that much harder. I didn't need perfection. I needed to see consistency, humility, raw honesty, and real effort. I needed him to follow through with the things he said, but also the things I asked him for. Keep his word when he made me promises to me. But he kept falling short, and every other opportunity to build safe and trust faded away, and we moved further apart. I told him it was over. The marriage has passed away when he told me about the affair, and I never reconsidered reconciliation or the divorce. But all I wanted was healing, clarity, and some closure. Anything to honor the 10 years we spent together. Yes, of course, there was a part of me that whispered, what if he blew you away? What if he gave you 100%?
No, 110%.
Sorry. What if he gave you 110%?
And God, if he did that, he'd be making a mess because you could only put 100% of a glass in a cup before it runs over, and now you've spilled your water.
What if you started to see the man you always deserved? I don't know if that would have been enough to reconsider reconciliation, but I know it would have meant something to me regardless. Because I could then see destroying me meant something that was genuinely remorseful and committed to repairing what he broke, my heart, me. And also a commitment to finally repair himself. Because that is the right thing to do. Not just in hopes of winning me back, but because that is what you do when you're truly sorry. You take accountability, responsibility, and you change so you never hurt anyone else again.
I mean, I think it's unrealistic to expect to never hurt anyone ever again.
Yeah, it happens.
I mean, that's just sometimes the way the world works.
Yeah.
But definitely understanding how to not actively hurt people by being, an adulterer. That's a good way to go about that.
That's a good start, yeah.
I
wanted him to be a unicorn. I wanted him to be the man I chose, the one I believed in, the man I spent 10 years with, that I married, that I'd fallen in love with, to make things right. Even if we never got back together, I saw the good in him. I really did. And it was painful to watch the mask slip over the 10 years. See the cracks for him, and for him to turn into someone else. I felt like I didn't even know him the last few years of our relationship, but I kept holding on. I really believed he would rise to meet me that he would grow up and do the work, that together we could be so strong that we could do anything together. It's so hard to see someone you love so much, someone you can see is in pain and needs help, continue to choose to run. I know he's struggling. I do believe there's a war inside of him, but I also know that he keeps making choices to avoid the hard, grueling, awkward, lonely, boring, agonizing work that is needed for him to finally find peace. I reached out after about 6 weeks of no contact. Then the divorce was final. I was struggling and felt a bit of a surge of confusion, panic, fear bubble up. It felt surreal, like things were undone. I wanted to explore closure therapy for some structured clarity and closure because I wasn't in a place for it mentally before. He had asked me for many months for couples therapy and said whenever I was ready, but I don't know if that was ever real. He spent 10 months after D-Day telling me what he wanted was healing. He wanted reconciliation. He wanted couples therapy, and then he started to slip back into some old patterns.
It took him 10 months to be like, yeah, I know we literally broke up 10 months ago, but let's actually work on it now. Now I'm ready. It took me 10 months.
Yay.
And also, this is clearly a lie, and I'm going to immediately backslide into other bad behaviors.
I found out a few things that were quite devastating after I reached out. He secretly started talking to someone new and then proceeded to lie and trickle truth me about it, only after being honest after I kept pressing. It wasn't jealousy I felt or that he isn't allowed to date. It's that it's emotionally reckless for him to do so. It's that he swore for so many months he wasn't interested in dating or even entertaining anyone because he needed to finally be alone and do the work. That is, he knows deep down that he's not healthy or ready to do it anyway. He also reached out to the affair partner for what? Who knows? She basically told him to F off. And he said he felt alone and needed that. But also, who doesn't know what he would have done if she reacted differently? Again, he swore to me that he'd never speak to her again. And also, he never would want to. Yet, he still did. He's also still okay with lying to me, even though he knows how much it hurts me. He's also hanging out with an old friend who he knows is not good for him. He spent 10 months ignoring him. Now he's back to business as usual. He's also not keeping up with his SLAA, journaling, meditating, reading, everything being pushed aside, and that cold, defensive, angry man who is always the victim I see actually never left. What's up with these adjectives, OP? Why we gotta attach like 4 to 5 adjectives per thing?
Because, Lil Kirkentologically.
It's like a crisis mode is over, and he's totally regressing. If any of the glimmers of hope and growth were even real, or maybe none of it was real or genuine, and all in his pleas, all of his efforts were just about relieving his guilt, his need for comfort, and possibly manipulation to try and get me to change my mind. I don't know. But I know he's once again, as he always has, choosing the path of least resistance.
Yeah, I think you need to choose the path of stopping your thoughts about this guy.
Honestly, yeah. In this world where therapy is so good for a person and it's great, I'm not talking down to therapy or whatever. I feel like it gets to a point where you overthink things and you over-explain things that you're stuck in this loop. And I believe solely that overthinking something, joy.
It certainly, yeah, I would agree with that.
You can't just let it be for the simplicity of it. You need to add meaning to every single thing that you do, and you just can't let it be.
It's always better to underthink than to overthink, just internally, Like, you're always going to be more at peace if you're just like, I don't know. And, like, you can't really do that about everything, but it's like, that's literally like, what is it? I guess it's like Zen or like Buddhism is just being like, yeah, I don't have thoughts.
Yeah.
It's funny because our mind is, I watched something today talking about how it's way easier to get crossed up when you consider your mind and yourself to be the same thing. Because your mind is actually something you experience outside of you that's like not necessarily real or true all the time. It's like you have thoughts all the time and they just come and they go. And those thoughts aren't you. They're like a program that runs on you, but they aren't you. It's
So
like the game on your computer isn't your computer. computer is separate from the software on it.
Oh, that
And
makes
Right.
sense.
sometimes your own brain's an unreliable narrator.
Yeah, your brain's like, what? You're a
yourself.
loser. You can't do that. And then you're like, I'm a loser and I can't do that. But that's just your brain,
Just perspective on life.
just your mind. And your mind is lying to you.
He always chose his own comfort, avoidance, cheap dopamine hits, external validation, instead of the courageous path of healing and growth. Why fight for me, our marriage, even himself, when it is so much easier to stay the same, to continue to be toxic and harmful and find a new supply to numb himself? I see so much of his true self now. It hurts to have been deceived for so long. My friends and my family thought so highly of him. We loved him so much, and he has hurt all of us, but especially me, his partner. He was supposed to love me, keep me safe, protect us, and he didn't. He's always fragile. He was barely holding on to it, but I think maybe, just maybe, there were real opportunities for him to turn it around and save us. OP continues. And if you want to listen to our podcast, go to OK Storytime on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or Spotify. OP says, in the early days, weeks, months, it feels impossible that this is so real, valid. This is pain I wouldn't wish on anyone, but not even him. Betrayal trauma is real, and it takes time to get out of the fog and stabilize. Please be patient with yourself. I am still struggling and giving myself grace every day. It's really one foot in front of the other. Wow, OP. And my thoughts on this was it's really courageous that you're going through this, and keep up the good work.
Yeah, my thoughts are that this wasn't your fault, and you just need to learn to like move on from your ex.
My friend told me to pick up her children in a few minutes. She had already left town.
You left your kid?
My friend is a single mom to 2 girls. I take the older one, 11 years old, from time to time as she always wants to come over and I love spending time with her. The younger one is 5 and autistic. I have taken her for a few hours but never overnight as my house is not small child friendly or set up for a neurodivergent child. No gates, no special locks, sharp edges everywhere, etc. I have 4 adults in my house, no kids. By the way, this comes from Puzzleheaded Chef 516, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Savannah,
I'm Sophia.
and we're here to give some good advice in a little goofy manner. But we don't have all your answers. We don't tell you what we would do, but you should let us know what you would do down in the comments. As OP says, she called me today at 3 p.m. and asked me to pick them up from school 45 minutes across the city at 3:15 p.m. I told her I wasn't off work until 6 p.m. and also I can't do a 45-minute drive in 15 minutes. She said to make an excuse and leave work early. I asked what the emergency was and she said, no emergency. My boyfriend wants to go out of town for the weekend and we are already headed out of the city. So just go get them. That's not how you ask.
That's actually insane. To be like, hey, I'm like hours away. Could you grab my kids? You don't have a plan?
Yeah, what were these?
What if they said no?
Which they are. I told her, no, I am not leaving work. And also my house isn't safe for the younger one, plus no clothes or anything for either. Yet you have to plan for this. She said to just buy the stuff to make it safe and buy them clothes and hung up. I called her back, no answer. Texted, no response. So I messaged her mom and Facebook and told her what was going on. She asked why I can't just do this small favor. I said, I am an adult with bills to pay and can't just leave work, and you have seen my house. It isn't set up for small kids. She told me, figure it out and go get them, and hung up.
Immediately calling CPS. I think you just text back and say, I cannot pick them up. I'm calling CPS if you do not figure out a way to get your children out of this school.
How do you just completely abandon your kids?
Yeah.
That is so traumatic for the kids.
Yeah.
They have nothing to do with this. You
No.
just want to be selfish and go and leave them and go on a trip with your boyfriend over the weekend.
Yeah.
You don't just do that when you have kids. You have to plan. You have to have things in place. You have to
Yeah.
tell the children. You have to tell who's watching them. You have to give instructions. Like, if someone told me to do that, like if like the dads called me and
Yeah.
were like, oh, like watch the kids, blah, blah, blah. I'd be like, I actually have stuff to do. And they'd be like,
Sorry.
well, sorry, but we can't. So you have to. I'd be like, that's hilarious. I would though go and like pick them up because I'd be like, what is wrong with them?
Yeah.
But I would be telling someone about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd be like, that's not safe.
No.
I am not leaving work. I texted my friend again and said I'm not leaving work and I can't take the kids this weekend. It is Easter and I have plans with my family. Had she asked sooner, I could have taken the older one at least. So this is also like a holiday.
Yeah.
I mean, girl.
Your friend is insane, and I'm dropping that friend immediately.
No response and no red reports. The school has called me and asked me to come get them, which I said I can't, and they can't get a hold of her either. It is 5 p.m. and I still have an hour of work left. Her mom refuses to go. I am an emergency contact for the kids, but told the school this isn't an emergency. Their mom left last minute and assumed I would pick them up.
But it is an emergency now, you know?
Yeah, now
Like,
it is.
It is now an emergency because their mom is creating an emergency.
Yeah. So am I the a-hole for not taking her kids last minute and being demanded to, not asked to? And there's an update. I don't think that you are the a-hole here by any means, because these are not your kids. You don't really owe them anything, whatever. But I would hope that someone would pick them up. And like, if
Yeah.
no one else is, then like, obviously I would feel the responsibility to be like, okay, I have to. They're like, what do I do here?
Like, you're not the a-hole, but I
you
think...
would be the a-hole if you're trying to like not pick them up to prove a point.
Yeah. I don't know. I understand that you're in work and
Yes.
it's not even like you're the a-hole or
Yeah.
you should have done this. I just think it is the nice,
Yeah.
you know.
If I was in this situation, I would do it, not because the mom told me to or anything, but because I would be worried for the kids.
Yeah. Same.
And there's an update. CPS has been called.
Nice.
The older kid, her dad passed away, and the younger one, the dad is on his way, but he's a 4-hour drive away. Friend's phone is now turned off. I feel like friendship is most likely over after this.
Most likely?
Yeah.
What do you mean most likely?
Friendship immediate over.
Done.
The grandmother isn't answering Facebook messages. Again, I don't have her phone number, just Facebook. There are some relevant comments from OP regarding the oldest daughter. Her older daughter and I are super close, like play Fortnite or Minecraft together almost every weekend, so I would miss her so much if all of a sudden I never saw her again. Well, I hope to see you listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app, and just search up OK Storytime. There's a little bit left.
The only critique I would give is that I would have if I had a relationship, especially if I had a relationship with these kids, I would have said I need to go.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm just
No, I
thinking
agree.
about if I were in that situation and these were kids that I cared about.
Even all the kids, even the ones that like, because I mean, I literally
Yeah.
did that for years.
Yeah.
But like, if any of their parents were to call me, if any,
yeah.
relatives were to call me and be like, hey, we need you to pick them up, blah, blah, blah. First, I would like ask if it was emergency, whatever.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. But I would definitely go out of my way to like do, just because I would be worried about the kids.
Yeah, same.
And I'd be like, yeah, whatever. Even though I'm like, if they're
Yeah.
like, oh, we're leaving, this weekend, blah, blah, I'd be like,
I'd
I'm
be
also
like-
leaving this weekend. I don't
Yeah.
know what you want. There is a final update. The kids went to their grandpa's. Friend's parents are divorced. CPS called him, but he was working, so returned the call after work. Youngest is with bio dad. Oldest is with grandpa. Both mom and grandma said I agreed to watch them. And when I proved I had said no and told them both that, he decided he is fighting for custody of the oldest for her safety and youngest. The dad is going to court for full custody. Wow. So she's not going to get her babies back.
No, I mean, like, she abandoned them.
Yeah,
That's
she literally went,
abandonment.
bye. Grandpa's fine with me taking oldest like I have done before, as he knows her and I are close. I just care they are safe and will get cared for and loved. So glad they didn't end up in the system. Yeah. Imagine, like, nothing they did. They did absolutely nothing wrong, and all of a sudden, you're just thrown into this, like, what?
No, pretty awful
Yeah.
situation overall. But I'm glad that the grandpa and the dad were able to, be involved.
But that's the end of that story.
I confronted my fiance about hiding her phone, but her answer made her laugh.
Hysterical.
My fiance, together almost 4 years, has never shown any signs of being a cheater, but it feels like something weird's happening. She wears a ring everywhere except when she's going out with her friends. I've never been a club person, but go with her sometimes to hang out. She's super extroverted while I'm more low-key. We balance each other out, and she exposed me to a lot of amazing experiences. I love her very much, and she's been an amazing mother figure in my daughter's life, who I have majority custody of. So she spends a lot of her time with her. I asked her why she doesn't wear her ring when she's out, but she says it's because she doesn't want to lose it when drinking. And by the way, this comes from Throwaway 556655, and if you want to submit your own stories, you know where to go. I'm Riley.
I'm Savannah.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to be pretty goofy, and we're not going to be taking these stories very seriously. But if you have anything you want to add, please add it down below in the comments. As OP says, she wears it to the gym, but takes it off and puts it into this keychain ring holder. My brother was over last weekend when she was leaving, and he asked me about it. I said it was because she didn't want to lose it. He said that wasn't normal. I grew up very religious and sheltered. My last long-term relationship was with my child's mother, and she cheated before filing for a crazy amount of child support and then basically abandoning her child right after it was granted, working on legally fixing that. So I worry sometimes that I'm too trusting, but is this normal? Am I being naive? She also seems to be hiding her phone. I'll go over to her sometimes when she's super engaged, and she's clearly swiped away from whatever she's doing. We have each other's passwords, though, and when I ask what she's doing, she'll laugh it off and change the subject or start showing me funny stuff. I haven't seen anything suspicious or any suspicious numbers or messages, so I don't know. Relevant comments. Guys, are we going through the phone?
Yeah, she's very sussy baka, you know?
Are you going through the phone?
I'm going, I at this point, we're like, yeah, I'm going through the phone.
We're going through the
I don't
phone?
know. I don't think I would go through the phone. Well, I take that back. I would totally go through the phone. If I had the password and they're like not there or like they're like in the shower or something, I'd be like,
Well, I'd be like, what are you hiding? Like you
well, yeah,
you're
I
very
wouldn't
sus.
just go to that.
I would, like,
would
alright, yeah.
have the conversation, be like, it feels like there's something going on. I don't
Wait.
know if that's just me or whatever. I would give them the chance to confess if something were to happen.
Sorry, Keon, what were you saying?
I would, yeah, what Savannah said. I wouldn't go through the phone immediately. I'd be like, you're being sussy. You're being a very sussy person. Like, what's up? Like, or do we go with the really mental game of, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I know what you're doing. You know, yeah, you don't have to tell me. I already know. I
That's
already
a
know the
great
truth.
point. Going through like the A to B. Also, everyone, one for going through the phone, two for no. I really want to know what you guys are thinking here. Ultraviolet says, I've deliberately worn a ring on my ring finger to look like a wedding ring when I'd go out just so I could say I'm married and wasn't interested.
Nice.
I've done that.
Oh, and if anybody interests you, you could just be like, not tonight, I'm not. Ming Ming says, nah, OP is already 1 foot out the relationship anyways. We got some comments. Opening track 1227 says, when you asked her why she doesn't wear her engagement ring when she's going out with her friends, what was her response? And OP says, ooh, we already got some ones here. She said she's scared to lose it because it's expensive, but she wears it to this gym. But she wears it to the gym and stores it in this keychain thing while she's working out. So I don't know why she doesn't just do that. The only place she doesn't wear it is to party type social events, or if she feels like she might get it dirty. When told it's shady to check her phone, he says, I looked last night. It was all calls from numbers I recognized, like her family or her friends or work. Texts all seem normal too, nothing shady. There's also no shady apps, just look like games and social media, and nothing in the social except requests from guys she either hasn't responded to or troll responded to. She's pretty relaxed with her phone. She uses it a lot, but doesn't guard it, if you know what I mean. She seems to swipe away when she's super engaged on it, and I come over. We have an update.
Maybe she's trying to surprise you with something. That's like the weird swiping, but then the ring stuff. She makes a decent case in point, but still weird.
Van Camper is asking the question we're all asking. I need to know how drunk she gets.
I need to know how
I
clumsy
also
she
wanna
is.
know.
I need to know how clumsy she is without being drunk, and then how clumsy she is when she does get a little drinky, you know?
I need to see her walk through an antique shop. I need to see her walking through an antique shop sober and then off of 3 drinks. Then I'll get my answer. Miss Ray says, wouldn't the ring be more endangered when she's wearing it at the gym because it might break? Well, she puts it in a little keychain.
Oh yeah, she puts it in a little locket.
And Van Camper says, because it's one thing to put your ring into a keychain when you're working out. It's another to do it when drunk, because I have lost my keys when drunk. That's what I'm
true.
thinking too. Update. So, after a lot of advice, I just decided to surprise her while she was out last night to see her true reaction like someone suggested. She told me where she was going, but it's not uncommon for her to bounce around different places, so I had to check her location, which we share on Apple Maps. When I got there, I saw her quickly, but decided to watch for a bit, see how she acts when I'm not around. Sorry if this sounds creepy. She was just talking to some guys and hugged them, which made me more nervous, but it seemed more friendly than anything. Like I said, she's extremely extroverted and knows a lot of people. She acted like her normal self, dancing, and when a song came on, you'd grind or twerk on someone she danced on with her friends or vice versa, except for one moment, a guy twerked on her as a joke, and she pretended to be the guy, which was funny. Okay, acceptable. I'm okay with that. After a few songs, I came over, and she screamed and hugged me and started to introduce me to everyone, which made me feel good. One of the guys she hugged said something like, the famous fiancé or something, so I'm clearly not a secret. The night ended well. She and her girlfriends were wasted, so I got them food and took them home. When we got home, I decided it was the best time to ask because wasted people tend to be their most honest, so I asked her flat out why she keeps hiding her phone when I come around. I don't like this technique. I've done this with my friend, and he was so honest, and he didn't understand what I was talking about. She said she doesn't hide her phone and asked what I was talking about. Then I described it. She made a face and smiled like she was nervous. She asked if I really wanted to know, then tried laughing really hard. Savannah, how hard are you?
So hard.
Are you hard for stories like this?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to tell you where you can get off.
Where?
On OK Storytime. Just search it up on your favorite podcast platform. You
Okay.
can be. Whoa.
Hello, operator. I need okay story time stat.
I'm hard.
I'm hard.
There we go. Turns out she was playing this game that's like reading a book that's animated and you choose how the story goes, called Episode or something. She plays games like The Sims, so this tracks. Okay. She said the stories can be really cringy and she was embarrassed because sometimes she feels like our age difference makes her feel immature, especially with the life experiences I've had before her. I left home young and she grew up well off and is supported by her parents in many ways. She's the type to join in with the kids at the trampoline park, loves pink, sparkles, and styles her locks in fun ways. She's always getting me outside to try new things, but also likes to do the low-key things I like. I guess the contrast of her personalities made her feel like I would judge her for the app, but I don't care. I'm just really glad she's not cheating. LOL, thanks for all the advice, guys. Yay! Every single one of you that typed one is wrong. She just likes Episode.
My friends joked about needing me because of my credit card, so I ghosted them.
Talk about a transactional friendship.
My friend group started planning a beach trip a few months ago, 4 of us. Long weekend, nothing crazy, but something to look forward to. I said I was in because I genuinely wanted to go. By the way, this comes from Soft Opposite 8402, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Savannah.
I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give some good advice in a little goofy way, but we don't have all the answers. We only tell you what we would do, but you should let us know what you would do down in the comments. As the planning went on, I started noticing a pattern. Every logistical question somehow landed on me. Who is driving? You have the biggest car. Who is booking the house? You have the car with the best rewards. Who is handling the grocery run on the way down? You are the most organized about that kind of thing. I did not clock it at first because I genuinely do not mind organizing things, but then the money stuff started getting fuzzy. I asked twice about how we were splitting costs. Both times I got, yeah, we will sort it out. Don't stress about it. One person said something about how since I was driving, I was contributing differently, so it kind of balanced out. I still do not fully understand that logic. Then one night we were all together and someone made a comment about how it was good I was coming because they could not have pulled this off without my card. Everyone laughed. I laughed too, but I thought about it on the drive home and that comment was not really a joke. I dropped out the following week, told them something came up. 2 people were genuinely disappointed. One person's first response was asking how they would sort the car situation now. By the way, I know what you can sort out. Listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app and just search up OK Storytime. There's a little bit left. I'm gonna say that they are using you.
Yeah, most of them. At least 2 people were upset you just wouldn't be there.
Yeah, I would be upset because I don't care about money. Not that I don't, you know what I mean. But
Well, they're using you for your big car and your big credit limit. That needs to be secondary to just being your friend.
yeah, they're not really friends. It truly is transactional. That response told me everything. I have not told them the real reason. I am not sure I will. Am I wrong for leaving without explaining why? No, I don't think so at all. well.
You can do what you want. I mean, even if you explained it, they would probably just be like, nuh-uh.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're not just gonna be like, oh yeah, you got us.
You caught us.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna be like, no, what do you mean, blah, 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 and then make you second guess yourself. So,
They're going to go, what do you mean, American Express Platinum? We love you.
no, please, I'm not my bank.
No, Chevy Tahoe, we love you.
No, I'm not my car. But that is actually the end of that story. And we got another one coming right up.
Yes. A friend demanded that I dye my hair for her wedding, but I refused.
My hair, my rules.
So I, 22 female, have known my friend, who I'll refer to as Ella, 25 female, since I was a child, as she is the daughter of family friends. But we've only really become close in the past 2 to 3 years. By the way, this comes from user Bride Hair Throwaway. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Savannah.
And we are going to read this story and give our advice on it. And it might be a little goofy because we are goofballs. You tell us what you would do down in the comments. Maybe you're smarter than us. She recently became engaged, and I readily accepted her offer to be part of her bridal party. Yesterday morning, I received an email from Ella. It seemed pretty standard, but then when she got into the look she wants for her bridesmaids, she wrote, "Hey OP, you'll need to dye your hair for the day. I'll take you to my hairdresser and cover the cost." This had never been mentioned to me. I am a natural ginger, so it's not like I have an outrageous hair color. Although Ella and her other bridesmaids are all brunettes. I texted Ella about it. She told me my hair would clash with the wedding colors and that brides get a veto over pretty much every aspect of her bridesmaids' appearances. She also mentioned my hair is quite attention-grabbing and I'd take away from the cohesiveness of the group. I told her I wasn't comfortable dyeing my hair. She said she'd get back to me, but hoped I'd reconsider. Am I being reasonable here? I've never been involved in a wedding before, so I'm not quite sure what's expected of me. I've gotten some messages from the other bridesmaids who are telling me I should just do it, and there is an update. To be honest, I don't really think anyone is being super unreasonable here, especially the way that they're going about it. Like, it'd be different if she was like, you need to like cut all your hair off or you need to dye. It's like she offered to have it done and she would cover it, but you're just like not down to do it. So
I mean, she probably doesn't want to mess with like her hair because it is like a lot when you dye your hair. It like it's hard to get it back like to normal.
Yeah,
like
that-
eventually
yeah.
it will be normal, but like that it ruins your hair for a while.
however long your hair is, it's gonna have to grow for that long until your natural color is back.
Yeah, and also like it's not like she's gonna keep up with it. Like your roots are gonna come in and whatnot, and then you're gonna be like, oh, and also that's not the color that I want. Sorry that you don't agree with my natural hair color, but I'm not going to dye it.
Yeah.
What?
Long story short, I am not going to be involved in Ella's wedding in any way. I didn't hear anything from Ella regarding the hair color, so I spoke to my parents, who in turn spoke to Ella's parents, all in their 50s, who then must have spoken to Ella's older brother, 27 male, who I will call Charles, who I've also grown close to over the past few years. A little bit of background, Ella has been with her fiancé Pete, 27-ish, since she was 15. He was, and I assume still is, a friend of Charles, which is how Ella and Pete met. Charles called me and informed me that Pete has a redhead infatuation.
And there it is.
Ah, and there the nugget of truth is revealed.
So you're threatened that he's gonna go after your friend.
I don't even think it's that. It's probably just threatened that he's going to be like, ooh, she's hotter than my wife. It's something they always joked about in their teens, although that joking stopped when Pete began dating his younger sister. Ella actually dyed her hair red, something I sort of remember, for several years in her teens. But it's basically become too damaged and costly to continue doing, and she returned to her natural hair color. Charles would bet this is why she's requesting I dye my hair. And by the way, I bet you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this on your favorite podcast platforms like iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Just search OK Storytime. We're going to finish this story right now. This all kind of made sense. I've met Pete a couple times, and Ella always seemed to be in a rush to leave the conversation and move on. He also stared a lot. Why was I even asked to be a bridesmaid? Her parents strongly encouraged it and are footing the entire bill. I generally am fairly quiet and accommodating, so I guess she figured I'd just go with it. I emailed Ella to tell tell her I'm no longer able to be a bridesmaid. I haven't heard anything back, although I know she's seen the message. I'll probably not be going to the wedding at all. The whole situation is just too weird and uncomfortable. I'm assuming there's no coming back from this. And that is the end of that story.
Yeah, it just seems like she's very insecure. My cousin's like that. She dyed her hair blonde because her boyfriend was like, oh yeah, I love blondes, blah, blah, blah. And so she was like a dirty blonde, but then she like really dyed it blonde because she was always really insecure. She's like, he's looking at other girls.
Yeah, that's
I'm
such a
like-
strange energy to have in a relationship. It's like, just don't even, why would you be with that person if that's your constant worry? But that's the end of that. We've got another story coming right up. I read my best friend's diary and found out she doesn't like me.
Ooh, you're kicked out of the friend group.
Hello, everyone. I, 27 female, met a girl, let's call her Zoe, 28 female, 4 years ago when we both started an internship at the same company. We clicked instantly. Within 3 months, I had met her friends, her family, her boyfriend, and we even went on a weekend trip to my hometown. I had just moved to this city, and she quickly became my anchor. At some point, I wondered if I was falling for her. She told me she was wondering the same. We flirted a bit and kissed a few times since she was in an open relationship. Eventually, we agreed it was better to stay friends. The friendship actually got stronger after that. Around the same time, I met William, 35 male, who worked with us. I fell deeply in love with him. He, however, turned out to be quite manipulative and toxic. He cheated, lied, and ghosted me for months, then called me at 3 a.m. crying that I was the love of his life. You get the picture. And by the way, this story comes from a Lanky Breakfast 5999. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Savannah.
And we are here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. So let us know what you would do, because we only know what we would do. Zoe and I eventually became roommates 2 years after we met. I stayed in this unhealthy relationship with William, which ultimately pushed me into depression. The first 6 months living with Zoe, I was a mess. I cried constantly, barely ate, went out too much, drank. I honestly don't know how she managed to deal with me during that period. I eventually got help, started medication, and slowly got better. But something had changed. Zoe became distant, cold, and irritated. She would sigh, roll her eyes, and avoid me. She made plans behind my back with our mutual friends, even though I had told her many times that I understood if she needed space and that she just had to say it. I kept asking if something was wrong, and she would repeat the same thing. Your depression was hard on me, but it's better now. I feel like I'm getting my sister back. Except it wasn't better. I couldn't shake the feeling that she couldn't stand me. One weekend, she went to Spain with friends, and I stayed alone at home. I spiraled again. I had only been on antidepressants for about 2 months, and I don't think I was fully stable yet. I couldn't take it anymore. I needed answers. I needed to understand what I was doing wrong so that I could stop. After hours of crying in my room, I went into hers and read her diary. Not good. Not good at all. I know. I am definitely the a-hole for that, and I have never forgiven myself for it, but by reading her diary, I realized that the problem was much bigger. She didn't hate specific things I did. She hated me as a person. She called me a failure and a loser. She wrote that she was embarrassed to introduce me to her new boyfriend, that living with me was a mistake, that I couldn't succeed at anything in life, and that I was unable to do anything fully. The worst part was that she used all of the intimate things I had shared with her against me. Yeah, so that's somebody with deep, complex insecurity issues of their own. And I highly doubt that those feelings actually have anything to do with you.
I don't know. I mean, when people get in like a depressive episode, it is a lot, and it does take a toll on the person that is trying to help them out.
That is true. That can be the case. Like, yeah, depression is hard on people around it. But do you go and journal about how much you hate that person and everything that they do sucks and they will fail at everything forever?
Yeah, no, I don't do that.
Like, that's the part that's like, something else is going on there. I grew up in a fairly unstable household with an awful father, and Zoe was one of the first people I was able to talk to about it. I was in shock. I didn't know what to do. When she came back from Spain, I didn't know how to behave around her. I kept my distance, not daring to approach her. She ended up coming to see me in tears, asking me what was wrong and why I was being so distant. I couldn't bring myself to confess. I just tried to talk about the tension I felt between us. I told her that I was feeling better and stronger and that I was ready to hear everything she had to say, even the hardest things. She said again that everything was fine now and that I was like a sister. What followed was a year of complete dissociation. Even today, my memories from that time are still quite blurred. We continued to be friends, to live together, and to do things together, but I started to make my own friends and slowly distance myself. For a year, things stayed that way, with us pretending. I even invited her to spend the summer vacation in my hometown, in my childhood home, and she came. During that whole time, I kept reading her diary. I just couldn't stop doing it. There was never a single kind word, and almost every entry was about me. She mocked the way I dressed, my growing political involvement, and the fact that I started going to protests that year. She mocked my new hobbies and new friends. She wrote that she pitied me. After a year of this and following another silent treatment, I confronted her. I didn't admit the diary part. I told her I had heard things she had been saying about me. I proceeded to list the things I had read. She seemed quite shocked and asked me to give her a few days to process everything. 2 days later, we talked again and I was faced with a completely different person. She was pure anger. She told me she hated me because I had almost succeeded in making her believe that she was a bad person. She said she had never thought, let alone said, anything bad about me. She told me I was a hypocrite, that I had been pretending to be her friend for months while believing all those lies about her. Yeah, it looks like the complex is starting to rear its ugly head now that she's been confronted.
Oh.
Maybe the definition of insane.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's crazy. Oh no.
Meanwhile, she said she considered me her sister. She concluded by saying she wasn't sure she was ready to forgive me. She said that there was no guarantee that I wouldn't make the same false accusations again in a few months. By the way, it's no false accusation that we have full episodes of stories like this on your favorite podcast platforms like iHeartRadio and the rest. Wherever you listen, just search OK Storytime. There's a little bit more story here, but honestly, like, I don't know if I'd be able to help myself from being like, well, I've read your diary, so I know everything that you've just said is a lie.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be like, okay, so then, like, I would have to confront her in some way.
I might have to wait until, like, this. I think genuinely she's so unhinged that, like, you might put yourself in danger if you confront her like that.
Yeah, that's what I was
So
thinking.
I think you might have to, like, kind of extract yourself from the living situation and then down the line be like, hey, so you'll probably never get an answer because she'll probably just block you. But you'd be like, hey, so I've read your diary. All of that was a lie, right? Everything you told me was a lie. I've seen what you've written about me. So what do you have to say about that? According to her, everything was in my head. That sentence broke something in me. I packed my things that night and moved out a few days later. We only saw each other again when I returned the apartment keys. I never told her about the diary. I deeply believe that she would have ignored the issue and focused only on the fact that I had intruded on her privacy. As I was leaving the apartment for good, I went into her room and read her diary one last time. What is wrong with you?
Just one more.
I will never forget these sentences. Quote, I spend my time wondering where she is, what she's doing, and with whom. I hope she spends her life suffering. It's been a year now. I'm still processing it.
I truly believe that she thought that you were the one for her, and when you went and were with someone else and all this happened, she was fed up because she's like, well, you should have just been with me.
That's gotta be it, right? Like,
but the thing is, she never mentioned that, unless OP isn't talking about it. She never mentioned that in her journal or anything. She's just saying all these horrible things.
Horrifically bad. I mean, what other kind of thing can spawn that kind of emotional intensity in somebody? Like,
yeah. To be like, I hate this person with a passion because I like them and they're not with me.
Yeah, I constantly wonder what she's doing and who she's with and where she is. And I hope she's suffering.
My friend won't stop talking about her ex and I'm done listening.
Boring. Honk shoe. Talk about something else.
So I, female 27, have this friend, female 29, that we're going to call Amanda. So Amanda and I have been friends for almost 10 years. We've been great friends and everything was fun until around 2 years ago when things got bad for her. By the way, this comes from Average Vic. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Savannah.
I'm Dakota.
And we are here to give some good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only tell you what we would do, but let us know what you would do in the comments. So I'm gonna give a little bit of context about Amanda. Amanda has been with the same guy since middle school, on and off. They finally had their chance on their first adult relationship a couple of years ago, but unfortunately it was a very bad relationship. I heard all about it. I heard every story about the guy. He was a terrible boyfriend to her. With every story I told her to break up with him and she didn't. They had trips and calls and every time she ended up crying and having the worst time. She told me she didn't want to break up with him because of how long they've been together at that point, and she thought that nobody else would want to be with her if she did. Finally, around 2 years ago, she broke up with him. At the beginning, she was okay, but then she was told by one of her mutuals that he moved on very quickly, and this devastated her. She begged him to take her back, and he didn't. He was already in a committed relationship with someone else. Of course, this broke Amanda. She cried for weeks, months, and I was there. She literally cried on my shoulder for all this time. We made events and hung out and traveled together. She started seeing not one, but 2 psychologists. After a while, I told her that I wasn't seeing any improvement. She kept crying over him. She kept talking about him. At this point, 6 months had already passed, and she was the same person as day one. She then finally started to see a psychiatrist about 6 months ago, which was around the year mark of her breakup, which I'm very happy for her. I've been seeing some improvement, but not as much as I would like her to be almost 2 years after her breakup. A couple months ago, she met another guy, and she started to have a crush on him. To be fair, Amanda is shy around men and doesn't know how to deal with crushes, as her ex was the only man she'd been with since middle school. So she was a little bit intense with him, and he backed away. They are still friends now, which I personally don't like, as she still has a crush on him. They talk every day, and he has a girlfriend now. This is important because now Amanda doesn't know why this guy didn't pick her. This happened 4 months ago, and she still gets a little sad thinking about this, and is a recurring conversation, as well as her ex and her ex's girlfriend. At the beginning, I wasn't very direct with the things I said to her. I sugarcoated a lot of things, but now, after almost 2 years, I am fed up. I stopped being kind and sweet and being more direct and, to be honest, a little bit aggressive with my words. And now I have been feeling that she is using me as her therapist. She tells me things she is doing or not doing, and I'll ask her if she has told her psychiatrist, and she says no. She will go and see her psychiatrist on a session, and then I'll ask her if she told them about such and such, and she'd say no. And then I would hear about it again once we saw each other for coffee next week. One time, I told her I wanted to meet her psychiatrist. So we had a session, the 3 of us. I had a list of things that she told me and didn't tell him, the psychiatrist. I told him she needed to work on these things. She kept bringing back from day one, almost 2 years in. Then the psychiatrist told me that I also have to set limits with her, which is what I did after that day, which is where I might be the a-hole. I have been limiting the time that we talk about her triggers. At the beginning, we had 10 minutes, then 5 minutes, then 30 seconds. Now today, she cannot talk about them at all. Turns out we ran out of things to say after updating each other on the past week's events. After that, it's basically her preventing to talk about her past, or she will start with, "Can I just say very quickly?" And then I'd shut her down. Here is why. I cannot tell her the stuff that I am going through. I had my partner end my relationship last year. I was devastated. Naturally, I told Amanda, and after a week of me crying and venting, she would compare it to her relationship that she broke up a year ago at that time. So after 2 weeks of my breakup, I decided to vent to other girlfriends on this, as they didn't compare it to their current or past relations. Another thing is that I have a messy family, and they are kinda a-holes to my life choices. I am an openly tatted sapphic with a cat and no desires for kids. Naturally, I developed a pretty thick skin and religiously attend my therapy sessions. So that being said, I tell her things that my family does or say to me as gossip or chit chat. I make jokes and move on. But the last time I told her about some things my family said, she later told me she cried and cried for me, and that worried me. This is not the first time. She hears stories that are not hers and cries over them and unknown people in the stories. These take a toll on her, as she said she didn't work for an entire day due to her crying over a coworker's story about someone else. So I stopped telling her my stories so she doesn't cry over them and she can focus on her recovery. We don't do new stuff. We don't talk about our dreams or what we want to do in the next years to come. And if we do, it's only about and how much she wants to do this and that, but she can't because she's still recovering. That's where we go back at the beginning again. I have reestablished a new boundary, which is I won't see her more than twice a week, and conversations cannot include those topics again. I told another friend, female 28, that we will name Veronica about this and my new limits and boundaries I have with Amanda, and Veronica told me this is what being a friend is.
No, not really though.
If you have to, this is hard because you care for your friend, you don't want them to be going through a rough time, and you want to be able to support them, but it's taking a toll on you now to where it's like, I don't know if I could be friends with you because I feel miserable after hanging out with you.
And I think your friend is also off base in that this is what friends are, and it's like I feel like what you're doing is probably the healthiest thing for her.
Yeah.
Which is like, no, I'm not actually just gonna make every single time we hang out you staying stuck in the same loop of thoughts about whatever happened to you and the things that you've gone through and how you can't overcome them and how you're stuck and broken. It's all we talk about. and I'm done talking about it with you.
Yeah.
And we're moving forward.
I mean, it is hard for her to hear, and you don't want that to like trigger something else in her. But
Well,
that's also
yeah.
like, you're not responsible for what she does. You're not responsible for her actions, how she feels, how she thinks, you know. You can only be responsible for what you do. And so, you know, if you're going to say all of that stuff, then you also have to realize that she is probably not going to take it in the best way.
Yeah.
But that's also not your problem. Like, maybe she
It's
needs
not.
to hear it.
Yeah, she probably does. I think, and I'm not a mental health professional in any capacity, but I think just from like looking at where we're at today versus like where we were before, where it was like mental health was this huge stigmatized thing and you were ostracized from society for it, versus now where today you have all these people who are like living within the confines of their victimhood and there's nothing else outside of that they can do until this boogeyman that they have is slain, which never happens.
Yeah.
Like, there needs to be somewhere in the middle where it's like, we want to accept people's mental health struggles, but we don't want to accept it to the point where it's like, yeah, and then you just get to be that and have that forever, where it's like a safe place to be. Because now I have this, I have an excuse to never grow and change, versus where before it was like, oh, you're sad? Well, why don't you just get over it? Like, neither of those really seem to be accomplishing what we want.
Yeah.
We got to find something in between there.
Yeah.
And I feel like OP's doing a good job.
Yeah, OP, I think that you're trying to help in any way possible, and sometimes you do have to be a little bit more aggressive with it. And I don't think that what you're doing is, I don't think that you're being a bad friend for trying to help your friend out. I think like you need to find what works for you and then what also works for her. But also, again, you are not responsible for her. I know that she's your friend and you care for her, you want to see her happy and all this stuff, but at this point, it doesn't seem like it's friendship. It seems like it's more taking a toll on you, and it's like, okay, so now let me be the therapist again today and be like, no, we can't talk about that. We can't do this.
That was your friendship dynamic. It was just talking about the traumas.
But you know what is healthy? Listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app, and just search up OK Storytime. Veronica and Amanda know each other, but not as long as I have known Amanda. We have traveled, the three of us, but Veronica is just getting to listen to these stories for the first time. So I think she is saying this because she doesn't get to live this firsthand. Also, Veronica lives farther than Amanda and I. We live 5 minutes away from each other. So all three of us don't get to be together all the time. But Veronica did tell me I needed to be there and cannot let her go in this time of need. So this is the story. Let me know if I am in fact the a-hole or if you would do this too. I would also be doing this in this situation.
Yeah.
You can't, like, you don't want to abandon your friend. You don't want them to, you know, blame you for stuff. Like, you want to be there. But at a specific point, you can only take so much. It's like, when are you going to get over it? When are you going to do something? Like, you can't sit here and cry and complain for years and years and be like, nothing's changing, nothing's working. Well, yeah, you're just doing the same thing. You haven't changed anything. Everything's exactly the same.
Yeah.
You need to pick yourself up, be like, you know what? I'm going to do something differently today. And you have to take that choice. You have to be able to tell yourself, okay, I am not going to feel like this today. Let's make a difference. Let's freaking change. Let's go through this differently today. Like, you know, you can go to so many therapists and they can tell you to do this, tell you to do that, but until you actually do it, nothing's going to change. You can sit there and talk talking to oblivion, but like nothing's going to happen unless you actually do the work. You have to do the work.
Change requires action.
But that's the end of that story.
My best friend complained no woman would want him, so I called out his hygiene.
I don't want you. You stink.
My mate and I are both in our mid-30s. We've known each other for over 20 years, and realistically, we've been each other's main support system for most of that time. He's the only person I speak to regularly, and I'm the same for him. Let's call him Dave. By the way, this comes from Depressed Tim Tam, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Savannah.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, I recently moved to another city for work, so we don't get to hang out in person anymore. We still call every few days, and despite everything, I genuinely love the guy like a brother. I don't see us ever not being in each other's lives. I could go on about his best qualities, but respectfully, Dave has all my worst traits, but turned up to 100. Oh. I struggle with depression and social anxiety too, but I've been putting in the effort to turn things around. I've been exercising, getting outside, forcing myself into small social situations, and trying to look after myself even on the rough days. Dave, on the other hand, has been going the opposite direction. He barely leaves the house anymore. His hygiene has dropped off dramatically. He doesn't try to take care of himself physically or emotionally, and whenever I gently encourage him, he brushes it off or gives me the "what's the point" line. I'm not a therapist, and I've told him that. I can support him, but I can't fix him. The recurring issue is this. Dave has never been romantic with anyone, which isn't a problem on its own. I've had my own struggles in that area, and being single is not a character flaw. The problem is that every few weeks he spirals into a rant about how unfair life is, how no girl will ever want someone like him, and how the universe has personally decided he doesn't get to love. My guy, put some work in. Put some work in.
You don't wanna. You don't feel like it. Don't force him.
Last week during a call, I snapped. Not yelling, just brutal honesty. I told them, you never leave the house, you don't shower, you don't groom yourself, and you spend all day doom scrolling and feeling sorry for yourself. You can't expect someone to magically appear when you're doing nothing to make yourself feel better or put yourself out there. Even if it's not guaranteed, you're making your odds worse. Honestly, you're starting to think like an incel. He absolutely lost it. He called me unsupportive, rude, and a traitor. Then he said some genuinely nasty things about my ex-fiancé leaving me. It was stuff that came out of nowhere and cut pretty deep. I hung up. He's tried calling me a few times since, but I haven't picked up because I'm still heated and honestly a bit hurt. I'm sure we'll eventually talk things out, but I'm very nervous about our next conversation too. So am I the a-hole for finally giving him the reality check he's refused to hear for years? And we've got an update 5 days later. Any thoughts?
I don't know. I don't think that you're the a-hole per se. I mean, maybe the way that you went about it probably wasn't the nicest way. Because, saying I finally snapped at him I don't think would be a good thing, really.
No, not necessarily the best way to do it.
Yeah, but you did it, so I guess, now you can either backpedal or go full throttle.
Yeah, I mean, he needed to hear it, and I think, if he's going to continue to act this way, maybe distance is the best thing until he's willing to actually do something about his life, because you can't force him to do anything. And if he's going to be rude to you, then maybe you got to step back. But we've got an update 5 days later. In my original post, Dave and I finally had a proper conversation. I gave him a call the day after the post. He told me that what I said genuinely hurt him, but he also admitted that deep down he knew I was right. He ended up breaking down and opening up in a way he has never before. He said this isn't the life he pictured for himself, that he feels like he let his family down, and that he worries it's too late to turn things around. For context, I didn't include earlier, Dave comes from a very strict Asian household. He was expected to become a high-earning professional, and while his two younger siblings have gone on to build successful careers and start families, Dave burned out in uni. He told me that watching his siblings thrive while he struggled has crushed his self-esteem over the years. He also revealed that his dad refuses to speak to him now. Wow. This is something I had no idea about until this conversation. He said he did understand that I was coming from a place of love, but I apologized for the way my bluntness came across. He also apologized for the comment he made about my ex-fiancé, which really did cross a line, and we cleared the air there. I tried reassuring him that he's always been an incredible friend and a genuinely good person. I reminded him that his siblings used to look up to him and still come to him for advice sometimes, which says a lot about who he is beyond his struggles. I told him I'd support him however I reasonably can, but that real change has to come from him. And to his credit, he started taking some small steps. He promised to get back into basic self-care, look into therapy, and try easing himself into a routine again. He even went out, got his long, greasy hair cut, shaved, and honestly, he looks like a different person already. That alone seemed to lift his spirits a bit. And it would lift my spirits if you listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. We've got a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
the truth comes out.
Yeah. I mean, it really goes to show how much he was emotionally kind of stunted or emotionally repressing himself. Because you are apparently his best friend and you didn't know any of this. Like, you didn't know his dad wasn't talking to him. So really great first step. And I think Dave's he's gonna get back on his feet.
Honestly, I think he needed the wake up call, even though it was a little brutal. But sometimes people need that, like, real push besides just like like how gentle parenting, like, some people are like, that doesn't work, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I wish that, none of that stuff happened, that you didn't feel burnout and all of that stuff. But the fact of it is, it did happen, but you still need to deal with it. Just feeling bad for yourself isn't going to change anything. You have to make, if you want to make the change, do it. Make the change.
Be the change. But we got a little bit left. Going forward, I'm planning to approach things with more empathy and patience. Life has genuinely hit Dave hard, and I want to help him climb out of this rough spot at a pace that's realistic for him. I know what it's like to feel trapped in a dark place, and I'm hoping that with enough time and support, he'll eventually find his way out. We're meeting up back in our hometown next week, and we're going to be watching some of our favorite movies at his place. And that's the end of it. Well, lovely. I think you guys are going to be just fine.
My best friend and I crossed a line, and the aftermath changed us.
We're not going back.
My best friend and I met in college while living in the same shared house. The rent was cheap and everyone was broke, so about 15 men and women lived there. It was honestly a hellscape. The house was dirty and poorly maintained, but the people were nice and I made some really good friends there. One of them was Mike. By the way, this comes from Null Document, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Savannah.
I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give some good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We'd only tell you what we would do, so let us know what you would do down in the comments. As OP says, I didn't feel a romantic connection, so I wasn't interested in him that way. Still, since we lived together and attended the same college, we spent a lot of time together, grew close, and eventually became best friends. Over the next 5 years, we both dated other people and were always comfortable talking openly about our relationships. Mike never behaved inappropriately towards me and never crossed boundaries with his girlfriends. He was loyal, respectful, and a genuinely good person. That said, there were 2 moments when he showed romantic interest. When we first met, he flirted with me once, but I didn't reciprocate. Later, after I ended a 2-year relationship about 4 years into our friendship, he flirted with me once again. This time, I turned him down more firmly. I wasn't unkind, but I wanted to be very clear so that there would be no false hope or confusion. That 2-year relationship breakup was very difficult, and I needed a lot of therapy afterwards. Honestly, that was the main reason I turned Mike down. I had just come out of a bad relationship, and I didn't want to jump into another one. That wouldn't be smart or healthy. I like you, OP. You are smart and healthy.
Yeah.
That was over 1 year ago. I have been single for quite some time now and haven't been casually dating either. I used this time to heal and grow. Which brings me to this past week. Mike and I have been talking every day without fail for over a year. We talk only through messages and calls since we now live very far apart. He decided to come visit me. I was really happy about it. I offered for him to stay at my place to save money. I live alone and have space, so I prepared a spare bed for him before he arrived. When he got here, it wasn't awkward at all. We've known each other for 5 years and have been best friends for most of that time. But as New Year's Eve approached, he asked if he could kiss me.
Stop it! Shh, Mike! Calm down. I'm not interested in you.
Mike,
no.
Don't do it, Mike. Don't ruin the friendship.
You do it every time, Mike. Every 2 years, you confess your love to me and I'm not interested. Okay?
This time, I felt like I was in a place in my life where I could trust again.
I lied. Mike, I'm interested.
I'd known Mike for years and I believed he wouldn't hurt me. So I said yes, and we kissed. We're older and more mature now, so the kiss naturally evolved into something more intimate.
Whoa. Okay.
During the rest of his visit, we shared a very personal and intimate experience. We slept in the same bed, took showers together, watched movies, cuddling, and even went to the movies holding each other the entire time. It all felt natural, personal, and cozy. Then his visit ended and he went back home. I wasn't expecting a full-blown relationship or even a friends with benefits situation. I simply expected us to talk about what had happened and figure out what it meant or where we should go from there. But now he doesn't reply to my messages anymore. We used to talk every day for hours, and now there is only silence. I would be pissed. I would be so pissed.
Yeah. So there's one of two options here, and we'll get into them in a little bit.
I'm pissed for you, girl.
Yeah, that sucks. I'm sorry.
There's an update.
I'm going to get into them right now.
There we go.
There's one of two options. First option is that it was bad. That's the first option. It was just bad. And he was like, ooh, not interested in that anymore. Second option, it got too real for him. And he was like, oh no, I can't deal with like the thing that was in my head for however long we were friends. And now it's actually a real thing. And that's scary. So I'm just going to not do anything at all. And those are my two options.
I just think you're a coward, Mike. Don't ask to do something and then once you get it, be like, oh, okay, we're good now. Bye. Come on. OP is showing so much maturity
And bravery.
and bravery. And what you're doing is pooping all over her. Update 1 day later. A lot of people asked for an update, and I didn't think there would be one for a few more days. But here it is, the final outcome. Oh boy.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Mike messaged me. He sent a text like usual, completely ignoring the ghosting and everything that had happened between us. I replied normally, and we talked a bit about nothing in particular. I was at work at the time, so I waited until I got home to ask him directly what was going on. When I got home, I sent him a message saying I felt like he had been avoiding me. He replied that he wasn't avoiding me, that he was just busy playing games and forgot to talk to me. He also said he didn't think the vibe between us was weird or different.
So he's stupid.
So he's a typical man.
Oh,
I'm not going
my
to talk
God.
about it. Nothing. What do you mean? That didn't happen.
What are you talking about? It's the same. Why would we have to talk about anything?
Yeah, what? So we had spicy sleep, and we just acted like we were a couple for a couple days. And then I just
my
didn't talk
God.
to you after that.
Oh
What's
my
wrong with
God.
that?
If this had happened after my boyfriend and I got together, I would have lost my mind.
By the way, you don't have to lose your mind because you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app and just search up OK Storytime.
Sure is. And I did forget the third option. He's a boy.
Sorry.
Sorry. Third option.
There's always that
He's a boy.
option of, oh, yes.
Everyone always forgets that one. Sometimes it's not that deep. He's just a boy.
I like my wife saying, oh, look, a man being a man. Yeah.
And there it is.
Yep. Got him. Forgot that was the secret ending. I then asked him what our week together had meant to him. He said it was just a couple of friends having fun and nothing more. He doesn't want anything romantic with me. So, yeah. This isn't the happiest update, but it's definitely the most realistic one. Thank you to everyone who left comments on my previous post. He wasn't cheating with me like many of you suggested, and he wasn't confused and sorting out his feelings either. We're still friends, and I meant what I said before. I'm just glad he didn't disappear completely. He's still my friend, and I respect his decision.
No. Girl, respect yourself. We are not friends with a man who literally, like a gal says, he got what he wanted. This whole friendship, he has been pursuing you, not consistently, but like he'll come back whenever he thinks he has a way in, and then he flirts with you. And finally you're like, oh, well, he's interested in me because he flirts with me. And then he has the audacity to say, oh, yeah, I'm not interested in you. It means nothing to me. My friend demanded I not get pregnant for her wedding, then spread rumors anyway.
If I want to have a baby, I'm going to have a baby, and I'm going to do it at your wedding, just to spite you.
My friend, aka Bridezilla, asked me to be in her wedding over a year in advance. She then immediately said she had one request. I replied, of course, anything. She then said that you not be pregnant at my wedding. My jaw dropped, and I immediately replied, given that she had not even set a date yet, that was not something I could guarantee. By the way, this comes from blah, 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 12340. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
Savannah.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, I explained that my husband and I were trying to conceive, that we only have so much control over timing, and that while we would even try to expedite conceiving, we could not promise anything. She's like, I don't know, I'll do it quicker if you want.
She's like, we'll do it more often.
Yeah. She then tried to deter me from having a second baby and even resorted to belittling my husband and our marriage to try to convince me not to. As the months went by, she began telling me that she wanted me to have a second baby after she got married so that we could have kids together. She's trying every tactic. She's like, you shouldn't have a kid right now because you're ugly and your marriage is failing. And she's like, oh, no, you should have one because like we could have kids together. This was despite me making it very clear that this is not what we want for our family. We have been married for years, are in our mid-30s, and want to try for a second child. We want our kids close in age. Flash forward 8 months of trying to conceive with no success. The bride then gave us an ultimatum to book her wedding 7 months out and pay in full over $5,000 for an international destination wedding after we had already spent $2,000 celebrating her bachelorette earlier this year. I received a snarky text from her before the RSVP deadline telling me to put my credit card down for her all-inclusive hotel. Staying in an Airbnb. Not going there. The text even went as far as saying, well, I know you'll be there because you're a bridesmaid. This led me to request an in-person conversation or phone call. I was trying to be sensitive to the matter and the honor of being a bridesmaid, especially since she was a bridesmaid in our wedding, and I have tried to show up for her this year. However, my husband and I were contemplating IVF and didn't feel comfortable booking something so far out in a foreign country that was also extremely expensive. We have several friends getting married and having babies this year, and if everyone expects us to drop $7,000 celebrating them, we will not be able to pay our mortgage. I politely informed Bridezilla that we were not able to commit 7 months out due to a private medical issue. She immediately made it about herself and told me how upset she was that I didn't feel comfortable sharing my medical matters with her. Given how selfish she had been previously, I didn't feel comfortable opening up about our infertility journey. She left it as an open invitation and would not accept my RSVP no. And I told her thank you for being flexible, but that we needed to work on a timeline with our doctors. We didn't want to book an international trip that could interfere with IVF rounds, should we go that route, and I wasn't sure we could afford both. During the phone call, I made a point to tell her that we were not pregnant and that we were navigating something hard. A few days later, I attended a different friend's wedding, and as I walked in, all the other bridesmaids glared at me. What? What is she telling you? Throughout the night, they repeatedly asked me what I was drinking. I later learned that Bridezilla had started a rumor that I was pregnant, despite me explicitly telling her that I was not. Having a pregnancy rumor started when you're navigating infertility is horrible. I then spoke with a closer mutual friend who confirmed that Bridezilla had been gossiping about me. She also shared that Bridezilla told people I was navigating a private medical matter. Sorry, did we forget the word private there?
That's annoying. I'd be like, girl, what do you want from me? Do you want me to be in it or not? Like, is she asking her to be in
It's so confusing.
the
now.
wedding, or she just doesn't want her to show up pregnant?
Well, she wanted her to be a bridesmaid, but now it seems like she doesn't really want her in the wedding. And OP's like, I don't think I can afford everything you're asking of me anyway.
Yeah, and then also she's like, by the way, don't show up with a +1.
Yeah, you don't have any plus
inside
ones.
of you.
This led to multiple people pushing my husband and me for details, effectively forcing us to share our struggles before we were ready. This was never something we planned to share with a wide audience, much less on someone else's timeline. In the days that followed, we ironically found out that I am pregnant. I am now having complications. So actually, the rumor, it was true the whole time. I contacted the bride to ask her to stop gossiping about me and my husband. She became extremely defensive and said it was justified because she was hurt that we weren't attending her wedding. Worse, she now feels vindicated because she guessed we were pregnant and spread the rumor, before we had the opportunity to tell anyone ourselves. OP, why did you tell her that you were pregnant? You didn't have to tell her that.
Yeah. I mean, even though she's been asking this entire time for some reason, she needs to know all your personal business. I wouldn't tell her because I wouldn't trust her with the information, which obviously you
know.
shouldn't.
Yeah, I would not tell her. At the time, she spread the rumor we were not pregnant. Well, we're sure about that? I understand that her wedding is a special occasion and that it is an honor to be included. However, I feel outraged and betrayed that she made such a personal medical situation about herself. It feels like this has eclipsed our happy pregnancy news and put immense stress on my health. I was admitted to the ER last night with complications. Despite my repeated requests for her to stop gossiping, she refuses to relent and continues to act like the victim in all of this. Now I'm at a crossroads where our mutual acquaintances and her bridesmaids think I'm a knucklehead for not attending her wedding. Everyone feels sorry for Bridezilla because her dad passed away this year, myself included. I did multiple tributes for him, donated to her family's GoFundMe, organized a meal train, and attended the out-of-town funeral. I truly tried to show up and support her through that loss. Since then, everyone seems to be giving her a pass for her bad behavior and, worse, entertaining the gossip. I am left wondering if I should throw away the entire friend group. On top of everything, we don't like her fiancé. He's made horrendous, disparaging comments about our mutual friends that are so bad I don't even feel comfortable repeating them. I feel deeply uncomfortable spending time around the two of them because I don't want to be complicit in that kind of talk. She also asked me to host and pay for a 60-plus person dinner party in my home for her and her fiancé, who has made no effort to know us. We can say no to all of this. We cannot tell her anything about ourselves. That's an option.
Yeah, and you can just literally keep stating that. Be like, I'd rather just keep it to myself. Honestly, this is kind of like personal. I'd rather not talk about it.
Yeah, whenever anyone asks you, like, oh, like, what's going on? I heard there was oh, sorry, I'm not really comfortable talking about it.
Yeah. What are they going to do? Be like, yes, you are?
Tell me! Tell me! Like, you didn't
hold you up
have
against
to.
the wall by your collar and be like, if you don't tell me your personal problems.
I politely declined co-hosting 3 separate times, only to be put on a group text asking me to host again after I had already declined 3 times. At this point, my friendship with Bridezilla is over. I'm looking for a path forward with mutual friends and could honestly use a PR rep to recover from the smear campaign she launched against me. I also want to regain control over how we share our pregnancy news without it being entangled with her wedding. I hate that she outed us and managed to make something so personal about herself. By the way, it is personal to me. When you guys listen to full episodes, stories just like this, just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. We've got a little bit left to the story. Any final thoughts?
I don't think you really need to be involved with this girl. Doesn't seem like she's really a friend. Seems like I don't know what she's getting out of it by making you feel this way. I don't know if you're like the friend that's always the butt of the joke or something, but like, I don't know. You don't need to stick around these people if they're not like giving you, like a positive aura, I guess.
I think the fact that she's gossiping about you, huge strike.
Yeah, red flag.
So I would just, I wouldn't even if you did stay in some sort of contact with her, I wouldn't be telling her any personal information. And to the question of, do we cut off the rest of the friends? I guess you just reach out to them and say, like, go one by one. Are there any friends who are not under her thumb? Like the
what do you guys got to
Bridezilla?
offer, huh?
Yeah. Prove to me I should remain friends with you.
What are you selling?
Because maybe there's friends in that group that don't agree with Bridezilla and also don't like her, and, maybe you could band together. But I think it would be a good idea to get rid of Bridezilla. But we've got a final update. I failed to mention that she also booked the wedding in the middle of the week, requiring us to take 3 vacation days if we were to attend. It is also over Easter and spring break, making it a non-starter. She's also requiring guests to stay a minimum of 3 nights, despite the resort only having a 2-night minimum, and we suspect she's receiving some kind of kickback. Furthermore, yes, this is my generation, and I also think it's insane and wildly inappropriate to ask your friends to spend that kind of money just to celebrate you. I agree. It's too much.
And it's like, why do you need to I understand you want something like extravagant or something for like, you know, wedding a day, like, yes, like go all out, blah, blah, blah. But also be mindful that not every single person can do that.
Absolutely.
Like some people are in just different, you know, financial situations. So you have to be aware of that. If you want everyone to come, it could still be a very elegant, cheap wedding. Like you don't have to be like, oh, everyone needs to spend $1,000 on me for a day. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous, I think. If you really cared about who's going to come, you have to accommodate for everyone.
Absolutely. You just can't expect people to go to international weddings or destination weddings, rather.
Yeah. I mean, it is cool. Like, it's great to, like, go there and whatnot, but also go there for your honeymoon.
But that's the end of that story.